All right, and with that, we're back. Welcome back to DragonPoetSociety. Happy New Year, happy 2022, everybody. We're gonna ring right into the new year with picking up right where we left off from last session. Nate and Sarah will still be part of this campaign. Don't fret or worry. We're busy in the midst of searching for their characters who are currently missing at the moment. So we'll see how soon we're able to bring that back in based on the successful sleuthing of the existing party. My name's Nicholas, your resident DM here, and thank you for all of you guys rejoining us back into 2022. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at DragonPoetSociety. Plug, links, yay. I'm so good at this. In any case, we're just going to go ahead and start with the recap from when last we left off. The party was hunting down various answers to their plentiful array of questions, most notably seeking their kidnapped party members, Flo and The Cackler. While investigating some various leads, in the dock district of Solni, the Guildwater Stalls, the party heard a few whispers and rumors about the dangerous individual known as Folian the Fox, and his black market trade through his Quipper-stamped warehouses and auction house, the Quipcoin Wonderware. Additionally, after they visited the Whelk and the Whale Inn, they found a very sick gnome vomiting in the side of an alley with sort of gold sparkly vomit that was eating through the cobblestones itself. Her teeth were pink and a little bit black, and parts of her tongue were dissolved away. So all of this loveliness made the party think that maybe something was going wrong with her, rather than just normal alcohol problems. I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but they decided to go to a local shanty shrine to Sol that seemed rather poor, but hosted Malone, aka Milne, who was a priest of Sol, explained that he had been treating several individuals who had been exhibiting similar symptoms. The pink teeth, the sort of violent, desperate cravings, like an addiction. Leaving this gnome individual with Milne, they sort of moved along with more questions about what this might mean, but wanted to keep finding their friends before getting bogged down with whatever's going on there. They decided that the looming enrollment with Anika for the Prismere, alongside their Lorebright, to be turned in, it was finally time for them to visit the Rainbow Complex of Whitewater Square at the center of Solni. Noting the increased security with strange golden-robed and masked guards at the bridges rather than standard Souls Guard of the island square at the city's heart, the party split up, getting past the guards, talking their way through and with their Lorebright registration and all that, and Anika went to visit the Hall of Arcane Regulation, and the others going to the Green Lorebright Hall. While Anika waited in line to register with the Office of Arcane Regulation, which is about as exciting as it sounds, and pay its licensing fee, the others met with the Lorebright representative Vulamaith Ahsoka, who had given them their Lorebright Stone in the first place, and they officially enrolled in the program as the Beewildered party, to Slate's joy.
One day you'll like one of our party names.
Afterward, they then rented a Lorebright room and got their first taste of using the Lorebright program, both in depositing Lorebright and purchasing information using its system. They inquired about Folian the Fox, learning that he has a manor in the Jewels Ward, just north of the Masked Palace, known as the Quipper Mansion. They also used it to ask about the Cove's Key and the missing lumens, or rather the Cove's Key who are involved in the missing lumens that got them started on their party, on their party's adventures, and they asked about its leader, Edwin Virtuous Vintlock. Its limited presence, the Cove's Key's limited presence in Solni, and their general business of providing illegal goods and services to the citizens of Shabvir. Smooth as always with my spinning pens. They also finally deciding to leave a few points of their Lorebright program remaining, they asked a few questions about Arcturus, the Vulture Lord. They learned that he moved into the Shining Valley from the Featherton region just before the Flickers started, that he uses nature magic and specializes in throwing weapons from the air to take advantage of road travelers, which seems pretty familiar, although is a little different from his new kidnapping for other people situation. With all that said, collecting Anika, leaving the Rainbow Complex, and heading out into the rest of Solni, they went to discover and follow up on this mysterious letter that they found a couple turnings previous on a corpse. They found the Togas, Tunics, and Try-Ons store, TTT, which was a clue from the letter, a clothing store run by the dark-skinned dwarf Julius Nakavir. After some interesting attempts to introduce themselves / slyly get in with Julius, the group revealed the letter and earned Julius's suspicion and also sort of help, getting some useful tidbits of information, including the very important fact that Arcturus' real name is Archie. As a sort of follow-up, Julius asked the party to meet a contact of him at the nearby revel den / inn, known as the Quench Bench, by the end of this next turning. Julius pointed the party to the Guildwater stalls, and the Grey Market auction house there, run by Francis the Foam, who was a flamboyant water genasi, who auctioned off sort of questionably acquired lockboxes. The party bid and won on one with some unusual powder and some ruined silk in there, but got in the good graces of Francis and learned that 2 fishermen, individuals known as Faraflin and Leto, play cards at the Quench Bench, and had talked with Francis about seeing some sort of pirate ship and strange flying things overhead. So with all of this new information and numerous puzzle pieces spinning around, the party's deciding to hone in. Sorry, the Beewildered party is deciding to hone in on the Quench Bench as the immediate follow-up, or at least that's what I presume. Take it away, team. We come to probably about middle of the day after you guys' varying endeavors and stuff like that, the previous turning. So.
To the Quench Bench?
Yeah.
I suppose. Will your parents be worried if you stay out all night?
It might be good just to...
Should we go back to the estate to rest tonight, or the end of the turning, or should we just get rooms at the inn?
I think we could go back to the estate to rest, or we could just let them know that I don't think they'd be too worried if we let them know that we'd not be returning. What is the proper way of telling your parents that you'll be spending the night in a revel den?
So, just from... God, I don't know what accent you're going to get tonight. Maybe it's something.
It's part of Slate's character.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember what accent he has.
Exactly.
Speaking of remembering, do you remember what we did down in the to the patch poles and all that, and how there's a lot of people that aren't well-to-do that really hate us?
I try not to remember it, but
so
yes.
maybe we don't sleep somewhere that's anyone can enter.
That is a fair point. It might be safer in Galen's estate, and it saves me an awkward conversation.
Right. As I guess kind of a question for the DM, as we're walking through the Quench Bench, I think we at least want to go talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think is what we're getting at. But given our crate of suspiciously obtained goods that just happened to fall off the back of a ship, would I happen to remember any fences, like any good fences to maybe offload our mysteriously acquired goods?
Make a general intelligence check.
That would be a 7.
The last guy you knew, Freaky Fingerfingers.
Okay.
He was run out of town to evade capture by the Soul's Guard, who kind of busted his operations as far as fencing goods go. So, not really your area of expertise anymore.
Okay.
And given the events of the last few days and all of the new influx of individuals, you could probably find someone who'd be willing to fence the goods or buy them.
Right.
Because there's been so many new people coming in to Solni, but no one immediately, comes to your mind.
Maybe we should leave those at the,
I presume that you opened it and took out the stuff. Are you carrying the crate, or are you just going to leave the crate somewhere? Because you kind of opened it like right outside the Dock Fresh auctioneering, if I remember correctly.
Or, yeah, I think we were still inside when we opened it.
Yeah, we could carry, it's, fabric and some...
We have the dust.
The dust.
Yeah, it's a small pouch too. It's, only like about hand or two sized.
Yeah.
I feel it's not that suspicious that I would be carrying fabric.
Well, I imagine that Slate will be carrying the fabric for you.
He's carrying the fabric for... We have a good cover for the fabric.
It's moldy. It's like moldy but nice silk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's take it. Well, yeah, we'll just carry it back.
Mildewed.
Do you want to go to the Quench Bench and talk to these two fishermen first, and then go back home?
Would they be playing cards there in the middle of the day, though? Or would that be more an evening thing? Or I guess we could go and ask the bartender.
Doesn't hurt. Maybe get some information about, what was his name? Aurelia's cousin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
On our way.
Hector.
That guy.
Hector Scovin, yes.
What do you think, Grandpa?
Go and see what's going on with the Quench Bench. They might be there.
Alright, to the Quench Bench.
Okay, it's not too far from where you guys are at. It's on Revelry Row, but it's on the sort of Tradestow Guildwater Stalls side of things, so not in the middle of sort of the Salt Pole Canals, but also along sort of a more colorful part of town, and literally colorful as well, as you're getting a lot of different flashy... Revelry Row is the place for lots of revel dens, and you're seeing that with the sort of smiling masks hung above numerous buildings of the masked reveler, and sort of streamers of different color. You have different groups that are different themes. One seems to be all dragonborn, one seems to be, have like this sort of butterfly motif going on, and you can see some of their sort of more enticing courtesans outside, sort of inviting different people to come visit. But you also notice that there seems to be construction around a lot of these different locations. It seems like, and you had heard through these continuing Tannoy announcements from the Cryostones that it sort of says like, look to your nearby revel dens for bathhouses and cleanliness. We assure everyone to make sure that we will avoid disease and other problems during this time. Stay clean and stay well. So kind of reiterating that the city's trying to deal with this huge influx of people, but it seems to be doing it via the revel dens, creating bathhouses and stuff like that. A few of them already have it as a sort of an attachment to the revel dens, but it seems like many of them are getting extended to account for higher population influx. After a little bit, you come to the look of a sort of middle of the pack as far as seediness goes, revel den, near the Guildwater Stalls. Sort of has the look of a single building with multiple cellars. As you can see, it's sort of got like lots of different cellar doors in the floor like around its base. And then it's sort of got streamers running around it that are sort of more of a watery themed colors. So it's a single story hall, kind of looks a little rickety and ragged. Like a barrel that's been kind of left in the weather a little too long. Above the door is the simple black and white mask nailed into the wood. That's that of the masked reveler. Words underneath proclaiming list to be the Quench Bench. Pushing open the door, unless anyone wants to do anything beforehand. Okay. Pushing open the door, you see a motley mixture of sort of haggard, mercenary, poorcloth folk, spending small bits of coin on drink and other amusements. The floor shows colorful stains from drinks and sticks to your shoes a little bit as you're winding your way past several sort of pillars into the main semicircular space. Sort of built like a tavern or drinking hall. It's got hardly any small tables, instead many long benches and long tables where you can sit kind of elbow to elbow with various travelers and talk with them. So there's sort of one very long middle table and then some that stretch along the horizontal walls of sort of as the semicircle flattens out into the deeper part of the space. Behind the bar, there is a striking green-skinned tiefling, Emerald, amidst a muddy sea, you might say. He wears a white toga and a mask that's a veritable twin to the same one that's above the door. Several other masked figures skirt around the edge of the room, wearing semi-revealing and thin clothes that emphasize their figure, but it does seem that there's sort of a sort of sailors type motif, as they've got like netting kind of stretched out as part of their, or like sailcloth, that kind of stuff used as accents to their clothing. And around the outer edges, you can sort of see numerous staircases leading downward to what look like private rooms and other stuff like that. So there's a rough smattering. Overall, the building seems not ultra crowded, but it seems like it's got maybe a good 10, 12 people in there, including the barman.
I'll go to the bar and order a round for me and my companions.
Oh, a round. Well, that's nice. Would you like a drop in any of them, or just a standard drink?
Standard, please.
Okay, that'll be 2 silver apiece. How many are we drinking for? Is this
4.
4? All right, 4 of you. Well, 8 silver, please.
Hand that over.
Tips are appreciated, of course, and kind of nudges the tip jar on the...
I'll toss in another silver to the tip jar.
Very kind. And you can see he's got a couple golden teeth,
Okay. You
or
wouldn't
at least gold-colored teeth.
happen to know if Therafin and Leto are here?
Could be. Couldn't say. Could use a little more incentive. I understand.
I'm gonna roll my eyes.
Times are tough.
Drop
Times are
another
tough.
silver in the jar.
Yeah, could be that's them over there playing cards, losing as usual. It kind of points to a pair of humans that are kind of weathered, crusty-looking sailor types, and they are along one of the sort of side long tables, like left one, if you're facing the bar. It seems like they've kind of got a little four-player game of cards going and stuff like that. Grendemir indicates and he introduces himself. The Den Master says, "I'm Grendemir Quench. Thank you for coming to the Quench Bench." That'll be them over there, Faraflin and Leto. And he kind of points to 2. Leto has a big bushy beard and not much hair on top. Lots of sort of wrinkles and stuff like that, despite being kind of young looking. And Faraflin looks a little more fresh-faced, but has got some scars on his chin, his knuckles, looks of it. Both of them are wearing that sort of like sleeveless, open chest jerkin type situation, which is not uncommon in Solni. You do have the common sunlight and stuff, and they're tanned pretty heavily.
Could I get around to send over to their table?
Well, that's generous of you. You don't get much of that around these parts. That'll be 8 silver, unless you're dropping any of those drinks.
No.
Didn't think so. All right.
That's fine.
What do you mean by dropping?
If you don't know, then don't worry about it.
I'll just look around the party. What's dropping?
Would I actually know that?
You would not.
Okay. Just kind of like pull Renostos away over. Look for a table that's close to the pair, but not like obviously right next to them. I guess somewhere we can kind of position ourselves to kind of watch.
Okay. So he's kind of the Grendemir, the guy behind the bar, the tiefling. He's kind of looking at you guys a little oddly because we've got well-dressed grandpa, amidst like kind of middle-aged, crusty sailor types. So he's definitely he especially is standing out. Anetka's probably the one who stands out with all of her bright colors and nicely made garments and stuff like that. Slate, on the other hand, in his rags, totally fits in, despite the fact that he's like the biggest guy here.
Thanks.
But you can find a few seats that are on that long table. There aren't many other. Remember, this is just long things like that. So you can find some bench sitting. Like I said, these are big tables that could seat, like 20, 30 people each, and there's only about a dozen people in the place. So you could definitely find some empty seats that are close enough to nurse your drinks and kind of watch them play, and stuff like that. So is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. So you go sit over by them, and you're sort of seeing them play a couple hands. It's a game called Scrappies. And they seem to be, both of them seem to be losing. So it's a gambling / drinking game, but they seem to be doing both. Middle of the day, kind of already looking a little bit in their cups. It's kind of your initial read on the situation. You're sort of getting like a, come on, triple or nothing. And he's kind of like, you see Leto like slam down some more silver. They're playing, by the way, with what looks like another human and a female half-orc. Female half-orc looks quite old, but still looks pretty muscular, and probably about as muscular as Slate. Even though she's like 2 feet shorter. She's got sort of like piercings alongside her jaw on her one remaining tusk on her right side there.
So, what ideas do we have to get them to tell us information without us having to pay for it? Because it seems this is becoming a very expensive endeavor.
I'm not good at talking to people. You may have noticed.
I'm not
I'm
either.
also not great. Awesome.
I can loo. I can stand real intimidating one.
That might be a best guess. I mean, we could just buy them around. We could just ask them outright about the information. I don't know, they're pretty drunk.
Alright, so how about you guys go talk to them and I'll just give them the stink eye the whole time.
Maybe not.
Also give the stink eye. No.
Maybe tone back the stink. Just a little tiny bit. Sorry, I'm looking for my notes to make sure I know what we're asking these people.
I guess I could.
Fine. Okay.
I mean, if we're really, really desperate to figure out what they're wondering, if you ask them a question, I might be able to... And I only have a feeling I can do this, but I think you're going to read their thoughts.
What?
So like a short bit. I know, it's a weird feeling. You don't usually get that, but that's kind of what I'm feeling.
It's a lot of things you don't normally get that you seem to be able to do.
She looks very, scandalized and off-put by this knowledge.
I haven't done it to you or anyone. I don't know if I can, but I think I can. So I'll
Did
try.
you read it in someone's thoughts that you can?
No.
Are you going to do this based on the thing you have or
Yes.
the ability?
The thing I have.
Okay.
If I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Maybe you could, do you know how to play the game that they're playing?
No. I don't know how to play any games.
We should teach him some card games.
I'm not good at card games.
Yeah, I'm not
You're
either.
not going to get Scrappies?
Would either of us know how to play Scrappies?
Yeah, you probably both have played a couple times. It's pretty... it's kind of like a push your luck kind of game where you can buy... So you get 3 initial cards, and you're trying to build the highest trio of cards. But you can buy more, so it's a little bit like blackjack where you can hit. But you have to ante for more cards to get a higher total. But if you go above 20, you bust.
How much money do you have left?
I have 3 gold. I mean, losing at Scrappies could also be a strategy.
Could be a strategy, but I'd rather not spend the money if we don't need to.
Do either of you have money?
I have some. I could put in for it, but I'm not good at playing card games much myself.
I mean, we could just lose deliberately, kind of butter them up.
That was my thought, and that you seem like you might be the more unassuming of us. You're young. You have maybe they'll be more willing to talk to you.
We could certainly try.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you're playing 3 cards in your hand, and then when you buy a card, so you're playing 3 cards, and when you in your hand, and when you buy a card, it's flipped face up in front of you. So then you can play from that. But like I said, if you get more above, if you get above 20, you bust. So you're out of the round.
It's like blackjack.
Kind of.
Okay.
But you're holding 3 cards in your hand secretly initially,
Okay.
rather than playing face up the whole time on the table.
Well, should we give it a go, or should we just be bold and ask?
Let's. Will we have an idea of how much it would cost to like buy into Scrappies?
Yeah, like listening, like how much they're wagering and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it looks like they're wagering. It looks like it's like a 2 silver buy-in,
Okay.
so it's like a drink's worth kind of situation.
We did buy them drinks.
We did buy them drink.
Um,
Were the drinks sent to them, or were they given to us to?
They were given to you.
We could go over, offer them the drinks, and ask if we could buy into the next round.
As you guys are like debating, you just hear like a son of a as like the big lady half orc was like chuckling and like taking the big pot. And you're like, thanks for playing, kiddos. And she kind of like ruffles the like bald head of Leto, the bearded guy, and then she and the like human who were playing with them head on out. And they're both like just like swearing and grumbling to each other and stuff like that.
Let's pretend we've never played. I mean, we're not good anyway, so they think we can just they can take our money and they'll be right.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
take
here.
the drinks over and
Hello. This looks like an. I don't know what that was. It's like an interesting card game. My friend and I have never really played. Would be willing to teach some newbies. And she'll sort of put the drinks in front of them.
So you ordered 4 drinks for them, so you got 2 drinks each that you just like buttered them up with. So these guys are go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage because these guys went from like this is just gone to a really bad situation to someone just handed us 4 drinks.
15.
15. So Leto is kind of like looking the drinks and immediately like just like and he's like kind of glances at Farrah Flynn. He's like, well, I suppose that I could, teach a few fine folks. Sit on down. Let's deal you a hand. 2 silver buy-in, but here's how you play. And he explains just what I explained. And he sort of says, all right, kind of deals them all out. All right, go ahead and you guys are rolling and playing, right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll 3d12.
3d12.
D12. I need my D12.
Yeah, it's like where are my d12? I have some. I have to find them
Yes.
in my pile. Oh, dice. No, that's not it. There it is.
Is rolling high good?
Big roll high.
Alright, so what are we doing now?
Yeah. So what number? Well, I guess so. They pull their cards. Let's see. I got this guy. And we got this guy. So you each play. You each decide if you're gonna buy another card or not. So would you like to buy another card? It's 2 more silver.
I'm a pass. I'm gonna hold.
I'll hold as well.
Okay. Leto's like, I'll buy. Puts 2 silver up. Right. Okay. So we're trying to build the best, highest hand, and he flips up. It's a 1. He flips up and he's like, okay. If your face cards here, or your face up cards here, go above 20, you bust. Otherwise, you're just trying to build the highest of the set. I'm gonna buy again, since I got a 1. Pulls a 3. He's like, I'm gonna stop. All right. Fairflynn is like, I'm good. Let's see him. No more buying. He bought 2. He can't buy anymore. You're not buying.
No.
All right. Let's see him. So go ahead and show. Just add them up. All 3 numbers in your case.
We got 16.
Okay. So we got 16 for Tanyl and
29.
woo, Anika 29. All right. Fairflynn got. He is gonna get pretty close. He sees your 20. He's like looking all smug and stuff, and then he's like, when he sees the 29, and he got. This is. Can I math? Wow. He got 28. 11, 12, 5. And Leto got 13813. So that's what, 14, 15, 16? So you got 16 with 5 cards. So the round goes to Anika. So you guys each did 2 silver ante, so that's 8 silver in the pot, plus 2 more from Leto, who bought 2 cards. So I can math, that's 12. So you take in 12 silver. He's like, oh, well, beginner's luck. How about we double it up? Does that sound good? I mean, we're all just still learning. I'm sure you'd win if we play again.
I'll kind of like exchange a glance with Anika and kind of hope she plays along with this. And, you know, we weren't really here to play cards, but we might be persuaded to just turn over that pot if you could answer a couple questions for us.
And Leto, who bought 2 of the cards, is sort of like,
So.
well, I could be, and Farrah's like, well, and he's sort of like elbowing him, like, shut up, Farrah. Right, well, yeah, I think that's a fair proposition. What were you wanting to know?
Well, you guys look like you're fishermen, perhaps.
Yeah, how'd you know that?
You just have the sort of sun-kissed look of someone who spends a lot of time on the ocean.
Sun-kissed, I like that, I really do. Well, that's very kind of you. What were you guys' names again?
Oh god, the only name that comes to mind that's not mine is Steve, and that's not
There's an awkward pause.
Marianne.
Steph. My name is Steph.
Okay, go ahead and make deception checks, both of you.
This will end well. Oh, is that a natural? Natural Uno?
But it's gonna be.
13?
It's gonna be a 1.
Okay, 1 total.
3 minus 2.
At least it wasn't 0.
Okay, so what was your name that you get? You were
Marianne.
Marianne?
Steph.
Don't know too many elves named Steph, but right, whatever. You give us that pot, that's fine.
It's actually Annie. He's quite embarrassed.
What did you call me?
Annie.
I'm gonna like I don't know where you're sitting, but kick you under the table or elbow you very over dramatically.
Right, whatever. I don't really care what your name is. You're paying. That's good enough. Come here. We'll play another round. How about this? How about this? We'll play another round. Give you a chance to win your money back. After you ask some questions, just to smooth things over, and then we'll give you a little bit more. That's usually how things are done here. We kind of ease into it, and Farrah Flynn is sort of like, whatever. I haven't had work for 2 days. I'm just bored. But yeah, go ahead. Ask your questions. What's up?
So, as with the ocean faring, we've had rumors of pirates, perhaps? When we're very interested.
Specifically, be a little bit more direct. Flying things, interacting with pirates.
Flying things? Why would you be asking about flying things and pirates?
I mean, isn't it fascinating?
They may have taken something that we would really like to get back.
Right. Okay. Well, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Oh god.
You can give it with advantage, or you can roll separately.
Oh, both of us?
Both of us, alright. Once again, that's a 1.
14!
Kind of giving you a look like he just doesn't understand what you're doing here. And kind of just turns cold shoulder turns away.
Just sip my drink.
Well, I suppose it could be said that we're fascinating folk, and we see fascinating kind of things. Yeah, we sure saw something. Something real weird. Strange flying beasts flying over by old Hornskull Rock. Most folk know better to, get too close, so it was just silhouettes, you understand, on the horizon.
Of course.
After old Pan got suckered in, never came back, the rocks sing, you see. And looks all nasty, devil-like. If you get too close, the songs pull you in, crash on the rocks, and you're never seen again. So they say. And the other guy, so that's Leto talking, and Farrah's like, So they say. Everyone knows harpies live there. That's their singing, I'd wager, that you're talking about. And feathered friends could be friendly with these, what'd you say you were looking for? Big flying things?
Big flying things, yes.
Yeah.
Almost like vultures, maybe.
Yeah, vultures, right. Well, it could have been a big vulture. It could have been a big vulture. It's like a big bird. Yeah, big bird. So could be friends with the harpies that they got going on down there by Horn School. Yeah, they were flying, leaving big feathers in the water too, when they were flying over. You know how birds do. And they landed not too far from Hornskull on a big boat, big ship. Wasn't one of them land-based ships though. Just a little bit out of where everything's docking and building up. But I don't know if the Navy's moving out pretty soon. Places like Hornskull are going to be picked over. So wouldn't expect that they'd be sticking around too long, those pirates.
Oh.
If they be pirates.
If they're pirates. I'm sure they're perfectly legitimate sailors.
Perfectly legitimate. I know everything about perfectly legitimate sailing.
Oh, you do?
I sure do.
Insight check.
Go ahead and make an insight check. How'd you do?
2. On a natural 1.
He seems natural 1. All right. He seems pretty confident. There's a guy like third drink in minimum that you've seen him consume since you got in.
Can I insight check that, see if he's on the
Sure.
upper? That's slightly better, so 15.
He's a sailor. You get the sense that he's being honest, but he might be bigging up himself a little bit to kind of like flirt with Anika.
That was a smart idea.
He seems like pretty smiley, like unreasonably smiley, and he's like kind of reaching his hand, just like it's there. It's not touching, but it's just there.
How's Anika reacting to this?
Oh, looking at the hand. Would she have picked up that he's trying to flirt with her?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's not exactly subtle.
Ah, yes. I mean, would a big, brave man like yourself know anything about harpies?
Is this Leto or Fairflin?
This is Fairflin.
Fairflin. Okay.
Leto's sort of just like still giving you the I don't know what you're doing here look.
I'm just sipping my drink and just keeping an eye on whatever it is across the table from me. It's fine.
So, Fairflin, who's the sort of like clearly younger looking guy, is kind of well, I mean, I'm not one to brag, but I mean, Leto and I, we've been on a few vessels. I mean, we're not technically employed at the moment, but and Leto's like, he hasn't been waterside for more than a few years. Clearly more experienced than this dude, but we'll get you wherever you need to go if you are interested. We're looking for work, as it were. So if you're paying, we're sailing. Or rowing, I guess. We don't have a big sailboat.
Well,
As far as the harpies go, we're not fighters. Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the old tavern brawls. But, we don't talk about that.
How much would it cost to hire you guys for throwing people out?
Go and make a persuasion check.
At this point, I would like to loom.
Okay. You just come over and loom.
17.
Okay. You can go ahead and make an intimidation check.
I'm trying to get you guys better prices.
I think I'm doing Flo's work of getting better prices.
24.
Okay. Leto immediately is like, he's like, 3 gold ahead. And Fairflin's kind of looking from you back to Slate from you, and he's sort of like, well, 3 gold ahead for the big one. He'll be extra work to row over, but for a fine, dignified individual such as yourself, I suppose we could settle for 3 silver for you. Maybe a gold each for these other folk.
Oh, that is, you're such a nice man.
Yeah, I that's what I keep telling people. No one believes me. And Leta's like, that's because they know you.
Yeah. How old does he look?
Probably about 19 to 21,
Okay,
somewhere
so
in that region.
About Anika's age.
Yeah, about your age.
Okay. So I was picturing older and a bit creepier.
No, Leto is more like on the he's like more like on the 40s range. They both looked a little older coming over because they're so like weather beaten and like even Ferroflin has some scars and stuff like that, so it kind of made him look a little older.
Well, if we were to hire you, would we come here to find you?
Sure. We're usually here.
Do we want to go today, or do we want to come back?
We got a boat.
How drunk are they? Like, do they seem like they could row us in a straight line?
Leto looks like he's handling it a little better than Ferroflin, but they're both like Ferroflin. He seems like he could at least row, and maybe Leto would keep him straight.
How long do you think it would take to row out to the place you saw the flying things and the...
I don't know, never been. Leto, what do you think? And he's like, well, if this one, big, tall, and hairy wants to help us, maybe we could make it in a few hours south Rowan. It's along the coastline, not too rough of waters, till you get a little close.
What do you think?
I don't know if we want to go now. We want to try to get. Our only appointment is here, but tomorrow.
What do you think, Grandpa?
Grandpa's back at the bar. He forgot that he was supposed to be looming and is instead just futzing with his plan.
Okay, alright, Slate, what do you think?
I'm thinking, well, a bit of a timetable. We don't know how our pals are doing, or how long they'll be doing. So maybe sooner than later?
Yes, I think that could be.
I'm trying to remember what time we're supposed to meet with Julius's friend.
Okay. While you're looking that up, at the bar, a muscular half-elf woman, sort of in a sleeveless toga situation, that kind of like, it's like a toga tube top situation, so it like cuts off at her like rib cage, approaches Renostos. She says, "Hey there, nice plant."
Oh no.
It's a lot of flirting going on.
I've like this before.
I can't say that I have, but I'd be sure interested to hear all about it.
You mean that? Because I'd be happy to tell you all about it.
Well, once we book a room, I'm sure you have a lot to say.
You're very nice, and I'm sure that would be a great time, but, well, thank you.
All right.
And Renostos is, like, flustered, and now he's, like, maybe over-trimming his pants a little bit.
Sorry, mistook you for a buyer. Usually, if you're not familiar, usually the people who linger at the bar kind of looking for company. Just word of advice.
Taking care of my plant, I'm not lingering.
Are any of us noticing this interaction?
Yeah, I mean, you see, it's not a really crowded place.
Grandpa!
Oh! She is offering to me, I didn't...
Just get over here! Get over here!
My plant, go over there.
You overhear Grendamir say, "Can't blame you. He looked like money."
Jokes on him.
He's really well dressed. Jokes on him.
So I didn't actually write down the time, but I feel like it was like later in the day.
Later in the end of turning.
End of turning?
Yeah.
Maybe we should shelve this for the next turning bright and early. It's always bright. I don't know why I said that. Figure of speech. And then make our way back here to speak with our friend, and, just in case that person kills us, then we got the information we wanted.
He's joking. He's
What?
joking.
What's going on? Do you need protecting?
Oh, I think I can protect myself, but I'm sure you could do a great job too.
Oh my god.
And Leta's like, don't encourage him. Just sit down. Just sit down. He's like raising eagerly out of his seat. He's like, just sit down.
That guy's kind
Just,
of
like, sit.
trying to do it subtly, but she's leaning back.
I will actually kind of like under the table, not where they can see it, but I'm going to pull 3 gold out of the loan money that we had accumulated to pay back. And kind of pull it out, palm it, and just kind of slide it across the table to them, like, deposit for tomorrow.
Leto, like, whisks it right away. He's like, look, if you want to go tomorrow, fine. You know, I don't know that we're getting any new work till after mid-year's term. Hey, that's coming up too soon, isn't it? Right. Anyway, but you know, it's a bit of a distance. We can go now if you want. If you want to go tomorrow, go tomorrow. But sooner we leave, sooner we get back, kind of deal. You understand?
What do you think? Should we just go now?
I think we should.
Yeah, I think.
Where
I think we should.
are we going?
But we found a lead to potentially find our friends.
Ah,
You're looking for friends. You didn't say that part. You thought you said something was stolen.
Our
Our
friends
friends
were
were stolen.
Well, if they're taking a horn skull, then they're probably going to be strung up, intestines draping over the edges, that kind of thing. Harpies are into all that, pain and all that.
Which one of them is saying this?
Leto.
Okay.
Fairflint is still sort of like making googly eyes. He's like, but I bet we could take care of it before that happens, right, Leto? Like, he's kind of like trying to.
So maybe time is of the essence.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm feeling fresh. Let's go.
Yeah, I could use some poppy feathers for my collection.
Fairflint's like, brutal. I like it.
Yes. Oh, don't worry, I can take care of myself.
I didn't doubt it for a second. No siree.
So it was 3 gold for him.
Leto's like, all right, come on. Well,
3 silver, because I'm pretty.
1 gold.
It was 1 gold for each of us.
yeah, 1 gold for you too, Grandpa, and don't slow us down. You understand?
I'll
Oh, I think you'll be slowing him down.
go ahead and give them the 2 gold for me and Renostos. Do you have the silver?
Yeah.
Is it still 3 gold? So, you know,
Because
if
you're
I'm going
big.
to help you row, I'm really kind of carrying my own weight.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, God. Oh,
Well, we might just say 5 gold for the lot of us then.
No, it's not bad. 17.
You make a fair point, and you know, I think Leto might think he can take you, but I'm not looking for a fight, man. So that's fine. We'll call it a gold, like everybody else. And we'll get
No,
going.
then I've already paid him 3 gold, so we're good.
Great.
Perfect.
All right. Should we do this thing? Come on,
Let's go.
Fairflint. Come on. You're done. You've had enough. He's kind of like, afternoon. Kind of waves to Grandemir, and he sort of gives him a nod. You guys head on out, get a breath of fresher air, less stale stuff, but it's still, you know, not the nicest part of town, so the smell of, you know, salty garbage coming from the salt pole canals, you know, does waft in with the mix. It's just less close in the air now that you're out and about. So you guys are heading over. Leto kind of looks like he's walking next to Slate and kind of like puffing out his shoulders a little bit more.
Do I see that?
But he's still a little to the side. You see him do it, but it just looks like the two of you are kind of. He's still a pretty muscular guy, and for a second it looks like he's posturing, but it looks like he's actually just trying to like crowd space a little bit out by keeping his elbows wide and stuff like that. He looks more like a guy who's been around town, you know, a little bit. Whereas Fairflint is sort of just like, I'm excited.
The whole time.
This is going to be such a good journey. You know, I think you're going to really love the water. I've really loved it since I've been on the water. It's great.
Oh, that sounds quite nice.
Leto's like, now you understand why I carry the purse.
But
I'm just kind of whispering, I can't wait to tell Maria about this.
I will kill you.
I was singing under his breath. Nick has got a boyfriend. Nick has got a boyfriend.
Shut up.
All right, so after a little bit,
Boyfriend?
Well, what was that?
Who is your boyfriend?
Renostos.
boyfriend, you got a boyfriend?
Not a boyfriend.
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know, I'm sure I'm sure you've had many lovely people make a pass. In any case,
Definitely.
and Leto just like reaches back without looking, just like grabs him by the ear. He's like, "Ow, ow, ow, ow!" and just like pulls him forward a little bit. And he's like, gives you like a sorry about that kind of look. Kind of pushes.
She mouse, thank you, Sam.
Just like pushes him forward. He's like, "What? I was helping." He's like, "You can help get us all roped off and all that, casting off and all that." And they lead you to a reasonably sized little dinghy that they've got going on. It looks like they've got it kind of squirreled away in a section that's sort of away from the major docks and parking sort of stationing sections, mooring sections for most of the boats. It's more close to the sides of the saltwater canals. And you're seeing like a couple people milling about in the canals region and stuff like that across the street. But Leto kind of doesn't really pay them too much heed. He and Faraflin kind of unfurl the boat. It looks like it's sort of a little bit longer than a two-seater dinghy situation. Says, "We're going to be a tight squeeze. Sorry about the space. Haven't had a proper job in a little bit. But we can at least get you there, and Tiny here will help us get there faster."
See, Tiny, it works. See,
It's not my name.
it's a nickname. Oh, okay. So I just got it.
Do you think Leto's my real name? Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's all nicknames and stuff on the sea.
So you can make up one for me too. It work. You know, if you want to, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's fine. I get it.
And Anika, as they're getting in the boat, is going to try to be as far away from Faraflin as she possibly can.
Leto seems to like have clued to that and has got him like at the forefront of the boat. And he takes up an oar and he sort of gestures to Slate the other oar. And Faraflin's sort of like a little bit at the front of the boat. But Leto's like, "Head up, keep your eye out, come on. You don't have to row this time, so you can at least be on lookout. Heading southbound. The rest of you maybe keep an eye out behind us. Look out for any official-looking ships. We're not exactly legally moored in these waters or anything like that, and restrictions are getting tighter with everything going on, these flickers and whatnot. So why don't we just be alone?"
Oh, but we are the most law-abiding citizens in the city of Solni, right?
That's us. That's us.
Been here before, I see. Well, at least we're in good company. Kind of does a bit of a stretch and everything crackles. And he begins to row. So go ahead and make a strength check there, or athletics check there, Mr. Man.
Mr.
I'm
Man.
gonna take out my hat and put it on.
That's 3 18s tonight, so that'll be 24.
Nice. He did not roll very well. He's still, stiff and sort of sore. So you're kind of listing a little bit more to the one side because he's not quite pulling his weight. Whereas you're just like perfect rowing pose, perfect everything, and you're just like plowing, slicing through the water. But you help make up for some of his lackadaisical rowing. And you're starting to drift more in the southerly direction. You see seabirds flying around and stuff like that, and enjoying the smell of maybe starting to get cleaner waters. Although you do notice that you're kind of passing along a cove inside some of the sections that have these. There's sort of in the distance you see these couple tall light towers. Kind of like lighthouses. They're a little bit taller though, and built with what look like reflecting or refracting mirrors on them. And you see, those of you who are from here would know there's a couple there, but the one that you guys will be passing by is the lamp aisle. And you can here, if you want to hand me the map there, the top one there, that would be great. So you guys are heading down. And you're heading past the lamp aisle. You know that it's got a castle set upon, or a fortress kind of set upon between a few of these light towers. There's a few of them stationed in other parts of the city, but this is kind of where they're primarily set. They're a kind of defense mechanism from the shoreline. And so they're mostly focused outward. You can see you can see sunlight glinting off the mirrors at the top there in the distance. But they seem to be like reflecting the light sort of more outward looking space. But you're heading on down for a while down the coast. Is there anything you guys want to do aside from your rowing? Anything you guys want to do? It's going to be a several-hour journey. Say that again, Kat. You're a little quiet.
Grandpa's sleeping.
Taking a nap. Fair enough. Okay.
Anika's just going to turn to Tanyl. Oh, I miss Flo. Don't know how she does it.
Take me a second. Yeah, I think for this little group of ours to survive, I think we need her back. Oh, spirits, we need her back.
I mean, I think I was doing okay, but I don't know how to get out of this situation now.
I think it's funny.
Leto kind of looks, gives you like a half glance, and at this point, Farrah Flynn is like and not paying attention, missing kind of whatever out, and Leto gives him like a backhand. He's like, he's like, maybe keep an eye out up front. We got some drainage happening up front, but don't mind him. He's harmless. Makes a pass often. Doesn't usually get anywhere. You know the type. But hope you're not offended.
Oh, I'm not offended. He's feeding the fish, is he?
Something like that.
Maybe the two of you, one of you looks forward, one of you looks back, since I can't see very well.
Neither can we.
He's kind of noticing this. He's sort of like, you're not from around these parts.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
And maybe.
Fair enough. I'm not paid enough. I'm not been paid to ask questions. I understand.
I'll move. I'm not that queasy by throw up, so I'll go sit up closer to Farrah Flynn with my fake fancy hat on and keep an eye to the front.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check with disadvantage. The sunlight. Go ahead and make another strength check for Rowan. Athletics, excuse me.
We'll kind of try to look at the back and just squinting.
Okay. Go ahead. You can also do a perception with disadvantage. Natural 20.
26.
I mean, he's like doing average, and you're just like one-handed, couple fingers. Like you're just doing it no problem. So you actually gain a good amount of time over this next hour. You're not tiring and stuff like that, like you might expect. And that's kind of the overall. Whereas Leto looks like he's kind of, working it, but not, he's not nearly keeping up.
10.
10?
21.
21. You don't notice anything other than a few seabirds and a lot of bright shine off the water, the sort of shimmering glare that you get off the sea there, especially close to the coast. What'd you get? You got 21?
I rolled an 18.
And you're looking out to the front. Yeah, you're seeing a fair few birds far off in the distance, kind of circling around and stuff like that, but nothing of particular worry or violence or anything like that, like no incoming pirate ship attacking or anything yet. So nothing on the horizon yet is what I'm getting at. So let's go ahead and make one more athletics check there from Mr. Slate.
I don't know why we hired someone.
You needed the boat.
That's fair.
Rolling well tonight, 21.
He is not rolling well tonight, and
Swim circles.
yeah, he's just basically at this point he's given up trying to account for that. He's just trying to occasionally do one row timed with yours to help course correct as you're just like.
Should I just reach over and just do?
You can if you want, but you're clearly outpacing this situation. And after a little while, you do see in the horizon several. Along the coast, there's jutting rocks here and there, as you might expect. But now you see, off in the distance, it's pretty easy to see, maybe a half mile out. You're seeing what he described, sort of this jutting piece of rock with what looks like kind of a crown or a bunch of spikes kind of coming out of its head that are sort of curved enough to kind of evoke horns on this sort of it's an abstract horned skull, but it's there.
Okay.
And
Like constellation abstract.
yeah, kind of closer to that. You know how sailors just kind of name whatever kind of situation based on what they see. So that's where you're at. You're not seeing any signs of trouble or anything like that. And in fact, you don't see any or hear any immediate like song or anything like that. There aren't any ships abound or anything like that you immediately notice. But you're a little far out, and your sight is not great. He's like, well, there it is. Did you want us to get closer? Maybe I should have charged extra if you're going all the way. But I suppose that was implied. I gotta be better about bartering, less about gambling.
As we get like closer to where like maybe we can start to like make out things, I'm gonna pull out my goggles and put them on and kind of try to see if I can get a better view of what's going on the island.
Okay, great. Go ahead and just make a straight perception check. As you see like the sunlight kind of
15.
lessen. Yeah, so you actually do see what looks like the prow of a ship like parked somewhere near the rear end of the area. You also see some movement up at the top, on the other far side from where you guys are of the rock, by the way, is what I mean by the ship. You see at the top of the 15, you see there is what looks like some like twigs and timbers kind of jutting out, kind of like weird hair along the top. Maybe what could be the beginnings of like a piecemeal nest or something like that. And most notably, you're seeing actually a little spot with what look like carved steps on the near side of the Hornskull Rock. Still not hearing any noises or anything incriminating there otherwise. And no like big raise the alarm attack coming your way or anything like that. No movement. Don't see anyone readying into battle positions or anything like that.
Do either of you recognize that ship? I'll kind of try to point it out to them. So not like blatantly like, there's a boat, but...
Mm-hmm. You guys don't recognize it. It looks big. I mean, you're just seeing the prow. It's like a small portion of it, but it looks big and like it's got quite a few crew.
Can any of us swim?
I mean, everyone can swim based on their strength and all that, but
So
you're gonna be weighed down by what you're wearing and carrying and stuff like that. The more metal, heavy
I'm
objects.
wool.
Alright.
You want us to take you all the way, don't you?
We do.
Anika will slide another gold.
Appreciate it.
I'm trying to think of like the best way to approach this, because if we don't want to take you two necessarily to the ship, but we need to get to that ship. So I'm trying to think if I can maybe help us be a little bit more sneaky through the water, and we can swim to the ship and board it, but I don't know how well that'll work.
Are you saying this in character?
Yes. To Renostos.
Right.
Tanyl and Slate.
Well, they're right there in the boat, so it's going to be hard for them to not hear you.
Right. So, the others are going to hear it anyway. But yeah, this is kind of like, Tanyl's like thinking out loud of like, how are we going to get to the boat?
Right. Well, as someone who has a little bit of experience, boarding from the water onto questionably allegianced ships, I strongly recommend that you, maybe have a better plan. You're gonna get picked off if I'm spying this situation correctly, which I am.
Is the ship moored like at the rock?
It appears to be. It's hard to, like I said, it's on the far side, just like peeking out on the
There are stairs up that we can see from.
There are stairs up on your side, leading into the
So
what
maybe
looks
we
like a
just
cave.
land and walk up?
Maybe, yeah. And
Yeah.
then jump if we have to, but there's probably a connection point. I don't know why else it'd be.
Sure, that sounds more reasonable.
Them's where the harpies are at, but I haven't heard them singing yet, so good sign there. Maybe I'll any kind of stuff some bits of cloth into his ears. Just tap, and he kind of says it a little too loudly, like tap me on the back if you want to get me to stop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just take you right up.
We're all pretty good with talking with our minds. Maybe we should do the same.
I have some.
Yeah.
She'll pull out some bits of wool.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Alright.
and he just just I'll get him. Just give me the wool. Kind of just like a little too roughly.
Anika starts giggling.
And it is then.
I guess we start rolling, yeah?
Did you want to do both? He's kind of gesturing.
Alright.
I'll kind of just gently tap Slate's shoulder and cast guidance on him, so add a d4 to your roll.
Cool.
Give you a little bit of oomph to get to the island.
I'll, roll my shoulders a bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Athletics check. Add your d4.
Not too terrible. 19.
19? Okay. I mean, it's not your Olympian performance of the first, hour or so. But you're still able to make it in a nice, even-keeled, thing. Pace getting up towards the rocks and stuff like that. And you're kind of banking it at the right amount so that you can prepare for... and Leto's kind of handling the rudder a little bit, too. So that you can prepare for incoming rocks and stuff like that and kind of ease it in. So you guys manage to get there, and Leto kind of tosses a rope that he's got sort of up to the other side, and he kind of gives you sort of a gesture, and then he sort of points to him, and Fairflint just points to the boat.
Anika cast message. That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Really hate that, but thanks. No problem. We'll be here. You get a little bit of time, not a lot. If things start going south, we're going to leave you.
She'll just... That's fair.
Before we head up,
Kind of takes out the cloth and stuffs it back in.
I'm going to put Vigilant Blessing on Slate, so advantage on your next initiative roll.
Nice.
And then I'm going to cast Aid on myself, Anika, and Renostos, so add 5 to your maximum HP, and then that's your new... For the next 8 hours, you have 5 to your HP.
Very nice, very nice. Good preparation.
So,
And as you're doing these different spells, you see you're kind of reaching out and grasping at the dark colored water and shadows that are kind of playing that the rock is kind of blocking the sunlight in these little corners, and you're kind of weaving them into these different colors. And as you're doing them this way and that, you're getting sort of these silver little motes of energy wrapping around your allies. You think you see out of the corner of your eye some sort of movement in the water, kind of up and down for a second, and then it just sort of goes away.
Can I lean over and whisper, "I love fish"? Yeah.
No response, but
It can't hurt.
no worries. All right, so as you guys are getting ready to mount up the stairs, disembark. I'm presuming someone's tying the boat down with the rope.
Yes.
And head up to the stairs that lead into Hornskull Rock. We're going to go ahead and take a break. So we'll be back in a few minutes, so don't go away. People who are watching at home, thank you for watching at home. And we'll see what becomes of this escapade in just a second. Okay. We are not seeing...
Oh, did I move my chair? I probably moved my chair, but...
No, the camera got moved too, so all good. All right, so we're back. Welcome back with Dragon Poet Society picking up as the team enters Hornskull Rock after getting two colorful sailors to help them reach it and kind of following up. Oh, looks like we lost
Poor
things.
timing.
Poor timing just after the break, but we'll go ahead and go to secondary break as we give Kat a chance to reconnect. So just give us a second, folks. Sorry about the inconvenience. Okay, we're back. We're back. We found Renostos. He didn't fall off the boat. No worries. A little bit rocky. Had to pull him out of the water. A little singed, or a little soaking. Not singed. It's fire water. Don't worry about it. As you guys are entering and ascending these large carved stone steps to the sort of austere cave mouth of the Hornskull Rock, you guys are noticing what looks like kind of intentionally displayed like seaweed and rope wrappings that have like bones and skulls mixed in with them. Some artfully placed like sort of feather, I'll say totems for lack of a better term, sort of like a bone sort of with feathers wrapped into it and stuff like wrapped to it, sticking into this sort of seaweed drapery. It also seems like it would serve as at least a little bit of like a sound, kind of like a curtain of beads that just make sound to anyone who's passing through the sort of mouth of the cave. So that's kind of what you're seeing at the top of the cave space there.
Before we, I guess, like, right before we left the boat, I'm just going to put my goggles back inside their shade cloth hat wrapping and stick it back in my pack.
Okay.
So they're nice and safe.
Fair enough. So you guys get to the top there. Did you want to do anything?
Did we want to sneak up? I know you have
Yes.
that thing that allows us to sneak.
So I'll go ahead and cast Pass Without a Trace on us.
Okay.
Stay close.
Yeah. So all the shadows kind of expand nicely around the party. There's lots of them here, so it's pretty easy to kind of blend in a little bit more. So yeah, you guys go ahead and make a stealth check to try and
Add 10.
add 10. Thanks to the lovely work of Tanyl.
Lovely work of Tanyl.
It's rather dim lighting overall inside, and it looks like the stone is pretty damp in general. All right, so Anika.
27.
Nice.
25.
Nice.
Yeah.
Renostos?
Sorry, it's plus 10, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's fine.
So 20 total.
Okay.
23.
23, yeah. So, Slate can just kind of part at his height the stuff to make sure it's not the seaweed and bones and stuff like that to prevent it from rattling. And you guys can just do like and the team can kind of go in and enter the sort of main passageway area here. So I'm going to go ahead and, as you see, the map situation has been a little changed. So you guys are heading into this sort of overall space here. And we've got some more kind of a same situation at the end of the hall. With draping seaweed and bones and stuff like that, but you also see it kind of like strewn among the floor. It's wide enough for where's the party here? Over here. It's wide enough for you guys to all to walk like 3 abreast. So did you guys have a particular marching order that you had in mind?
Is it dark in the hall?
Dim lit, I would say overall. Not pure dark. Thanks. Not pure dark. There's cracks and stuff where streams of light are kind of coming in from the top there. So, is there anyone who wants to go in particular?
I'll go first, but I'm gonna kind of tap Renostos on the shoulder.
Whoa!
Terrain falling on her head.
Terrain falling down.
And give him.
That's why I need those shelvings.
It's terraining.
It's terrain.
It's terrain.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Your
give
comedy's
Renostos
appreciated.
dark vision. So you have
Thank you.
300 feet of dark vision for the next hour.
Jesus.
Awesome.
Oh, through your thing. I was like, that's not what the spell does. Oh, but you're
My eyes of night ability.
So Slate's gonna, focus on the connections between people again and strengthen his connection with Tanyl.
okay.
Against Warden Bond.
Great. So you again feel that sort of connection that you did before,
Okay.
kind of understanding and appreciation. Part of something is sort of like, like we could, but I guess if we're working together, fine. Kind of situation that you're getting in the back of your head, but you connect. So you're in this sort of area, and go ahead and place your models in a different order if you guys want to. It does narrow in on the one side.
Where
So.
do you want to be, Renostos?
I'll be in the front, and I want to take a moment as we're entering to have everyone stop and listen to see if we can hear anything coming from inside this area.
Don't we
Okay.
all have wool in our ears?
You do all have wool in your ears, so did you want to take that out to listen?
Yeah, I'll take it out.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
12.
12. Okay, so you're focusing more on the hearing, and you don't hear any singing. You don't really notice anything in particular as far as unusual sounds, although if you listen really closely, you can hear... Oh, and I forgot, sorry. Oops.
Everything down.
You do hear kind of a rather echoey dripping, like drip, splat, coming sort of from the, this left side of the passageway / room that you're in. As far as just visually, now that you have the dark vision and the rest of you with a decent passive perception of 12 or higher, would be able to see perhaps what's most notable is that you see what look like hanging nets and things like that, ready that were nets that would have been ready to snatch people up and hang them, dangling them. Look like they've been cut down and slashed open. And most notably, tangled within them and deliberately, strangled around their necks, eyes, slashed at, that kind of stuff. You see 3 dead harpies, just, plucked harpies, basically. All their feathers have been ripped off, wings torn and bent at odd angles. So you're noticing, this now that you're noticing a little bit more, this room's full of 3 dead bodies, which is why you're not hearing, why you're not hearing, any song or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of what you're getting overall.
Nutkel take the wool out of her ears, but still being quiet, sort of message, probably to Neil. So, what do you think killed the harpies?
I would imagine whoever's on the boat killed the harpies. Not good to have harpies singing when you're trying to hide and be sneaky.
Sort of tap people on the shoulder and point forward, sort of let's keep going.
Let's get this a little closer on the camera here. Okay. Did you want to take a closer look at the bodies, by the way, if you wanted to see?
Do you want to steal some feathers?
Yeah, well, she said they're plucked.
I mean, the feathers are around. It's just that they
She will
torn off.
for sure steal some feathers, and
Okay.
she'll take a look, see, were they killed in any particular way that would be identifying,
Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine or perception check, or medicine or investigation, whichever's better for you.
medicine or
While she's doing that, I'll kind of
investigation.
touch the more great stone to one of them, see if I get anything.
Okay. You don't.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Very nice. Yeah, you kind of surmise maybe harpies are a more common creature that maybe other adventuring parties by now have turned in info on. Natural 20 on the investigation. It looks like it's a mixture of daggers and claws. Specifically, there's clearly claw marks around, and you actually find a few strange, you can't really place it, little threads or hairs of some kind. They're kind of a whitish red. They look like some type of hair or something like that. They're kind of long.
Do you show them to us?
Yeah, I showed this.
There's only like a few of them.
No, I'll touch the stone to that then.
Okay, that does light up.
Yeah, and would she have heard of any sort of clawed creature that would have red and light?
You would not.
Not. And she'll message everyone and try to be like, and tell them of her discoveries. Be prepared.
Find the beast.
And does the fur feel soft or look long?
It is long. It's kind of soft. But
what's the micron count of that fiber?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like it's two disparate ones, so it's not like it's a shag carpet that you can kind of ruffle around and stuff like that. You also notice that there seems to be kind of like a just in general as you guys are looking, it looks like there's like a tapestry of like the same sort of style of decoration that was up at the front, sort of done in seaweed and woven nets and bones and stuff like that, that depicted sort of a like a feathered skull situation, but it was like it's been slashed down.
As Anika's looking at the hair, she starts to look very excited. She's very much planning for if she kills a beast like this, what she's gonna do.
Okay.
I am unsettled by her expression.
Yeah, amidst all the grisly murders, you're just like, yay! So what's everyone doing here, team?
Moving. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so you're moving forward. So again, you come to sort of this similar, like, parting situation. Did you want to... You still have the Pass Without a Trace in effect. It doesn't...
It's got an hour in its concentration.
Okay, did it require concentration to give Dark Vision to...
No, I don't believe that does unless that's something we changed, but let me double check.
8 hours of concentration would be...
Well, it's just an hour of concentration for that.
To give the Dark Vision to Renostos?
It's just an action. It doesn't say anything about concentration, so I don't...
Okay,
I
then
think,
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It would say, like, concentrating as if with a spell.
Right.
So, nope, I just want to double check. Alright, so, again, we'll get you guys to do another round of stealth checks as you're moving through this curtain, I'm assuming. Is there anything you guys wanted to do in between that, or...
Check the traps.
Okay, go ahead and make a investigation check for the traps, and then go ahead and give me the stealth roll plus 10. Renostos, did you have something?
I was gonna say check for traps too.
You can roll separately.
Sure.
Go ahead and roll investigation. Alright, Slate, what'd you get on your investigation?
18.
Okay. Renostos?
15.
15?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like there was a trap, and it's like with the snares and stuff, it was a tripwire of some kind. It seems like it's been cut.
Okay.
So, not sure exactly what that would have led to or anything like that. But you notice that it's been dealt with in some way. Alright, so stealth check all the way around. Tanyl?
32.
Whoa! I guess that plus 10 is very nice. Renostos, how'd you do?
18.
Say again?
19.
19. Okay, nice.
14.
Ooh, with the plus 10, alright.
25.
25. Okay, so you're a little
Or
less
sneaky.
sneaky, Slate, as you just sort of like you're like shooing aside like a shower curtain kind of situation this time, and you hear sort of like a rattling of the bones, and everyone else is just like sneaking in as you guys go in and get to the next scene. So we'll go ahead and build that here.
Natural 2. Let's go.
Got an 18.
And a 15?
Yeah, 32. I mean, you get plus 10, so fair enough, but still.
At level 4. 32.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a
By any means, that's pretty
plus 4 to stealth.
good.
Do you need me help?
Well, I'm thinking we're gonna do this because I think Kat, you said you had a harder time seeing. I can just adjust the camera.
Enough for me to help.
Yeah. You want to just square that one up there, Brandon, and then we're gonna go ahead and replace this. Do you want to square that up for me, please?
It's a table.
It's an apple.
It's a table.
Table.
Okay. So this connects here. We're gonna go ahead and bring this all down a little bit.
Rest in Slate. I heard the new ye.
Literally.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna
they do well.
bring this all down, connecting up. All right, so as described, you're seeing this passageway widen past the sort of shower curtain that Slate shoved aside. We can just move that out of the way.
Poor shower etiquette.
So you can see a sort of a widened chamber. It seems to be spanning off, and you can see what looks like a rough and crude bed situation. You see a winding staircase leading down the other side of the chamber, and you see this sort of wooden, driftwood, cobbled together driftwood table that's kind of occupying the center back of the overall location. All right. It reveals this overall, the same thing with the bed, makeshift sort of driftwood. Looks like canvas sheets tucked against the one corner of the wall. You can see that the exit's there. And you can see more clearly now, you can see what looks like a sleek and terrible ship of pirate origin. Black. It looks like black sails, that kind of stuff. It looks like they've got some mirrors on the hull also to reflect light, maybe blinding enemies that way. And you see a sea cloud posted on its side in like big black iron letters. You see quite a few crew members and stuff like that bustling about. It's kind of in the distance, but it's close enough that you can see. Beside this exit, you see a pair of bound and blindfolded familiar sights of Flo and the Cackler. There on the far side. In the central area with the plank wooden desk, you see two men standing over it. One, who is quite familiar to you, Arcturus, the Vulture Lord, unmounted, but looking handsome and haughty, beside a tall and thin, haggardly looking man around his 40s or 50s, scraggly black and salt and pepper beard. He's got a bandana, earring, hat with a sort of feathers. Both are sort of writing furiously on a page with earplugs, sort of blocking their hearing. The parting of the seaweed, though, does catch their eyes, and they look up immediately and pull their earplugs out. So we're going to see, we've got Arcturus here. They're dismounted, and we've got a different new guy here on the table. Kat, can you see okay? Do I need to zoom in a little?
I can't see out of that camera at all.
Yeah, I'm just doing this for the table as well. Kat, did you? I'm sorry, Felina. Do you want to lift the, tilt that forward a little?
Just a little. There you go. That's better.
Okay, so we got the pirated captain-looking guy here, and we've got Arcturus over here, bearing his blood-red javelin, and we've got our bound captive friends here on the other side with the boat kind of in the background. Sort of Arcturus kind of looks up and says, "Well, it seems like we no longer have to bother with the harpy song any longer." And the other guy sort of turns and he says, "Arr! You'd best be leaving me and these pair alone. Their sweet sealing and magic craft are going to me. The ceiling and the craft are going to be going to me." And he kind of gestures and pulls out this big, sort of like almost trumpet-looking thing, kind of like what he's got holding in his hand, but it sort of looks like a old arquebus gun, if you know what those look like, where it's sort of normal and then it's just like trumpeting out at the end. But unlike a gun, it seems to be sort of crackling with like a stormy cloud crackle in it. And he kind of is keeping it to the side and kind of looking and kind of just waiting for you guys to act for a moment. He says, "You've come this far, but I could just buy off your friends if you're not interested in going after them. Is it really worth it?"
I mean, we're not going to let them be. Yeah, we're saving them.
Like,
Yes.
why else would we be here?
Well, I mean, I'm just giving you the option. That doesn't seem. I didn't know that this one, kind of gestures to Flo, knew many other folks in town so soon, so closely. But I suppose that, I can respect your loyalty. He's kind of
Stalling for time. Let's go.
Yeah, you can tell he seems to be like stalling for time because it seems like as he's doing this, his like cannon thing that he's holding is like winding up or charging with energy. And as you guys are like brandishing your weapons and getting ready to step forward into the combat, a huge explosion just like rips through the back end of the cavern, and this like fiery wash of smoke and light comes through from where the ship is behind you. The whole ship has just like shattered timbers, and like people are going flying off the backside. Huge, like everyone is shaken by the situation. Arcturus and the pirate guy are sort of like staggering. You guys all get sort of like shook by the shockwave situation, and immediately Pirate is just like turning and looking at what happened and is just like, no, my ship. Like his voice is just like crackling with anger and like disbelief as this whole like you're seeing like people like flailing on fire, like screaming, going over the ends into the water. At this point, Arcturus is like making a break for it. He is just like, I'm out, and is heading over toward the exit, and quickly just like wrenches open what looked like solid stone, but seems like to be a painted wooden door, and like quickly he seems like he was ready to bolt the moment that you guys walked into the space. So he's pretty like ready, and you guys were kind of caught off guard a little bit from the explosion situation here. The pirate is like totally ignoring you guys at this point. He is kind of hovering over, and the smoke plume is just kind of like washing through this space now, so it's kind of blocking line of sight a little bit, and you just hear like a and you see Pirate Boy go flying back and like falling with what look like slash marks and like burning like lightning kind of tinging in his skin a little bit, and like blood. And you just sort of hear like a this is gonna be so fun, and you just see like a and the smoke just billows out and blooms over you guys, and you see another individual, this time quite young looking, human, sort of like a pointy goatee kind of beard, otherwise got some sort of like reddish hair, kind of reddish looking hair. He seems to be casting like a strange shadow that's flying around in his like wake as he steps. He's just kind of regarding all of you guys. Kind of got like oddly shaped ears, got long hair, and he seems to be wearing like this long, almost like bathrobe of like maroon trimmed in white fur, or like trimmed in like a white gray kind of fur. And Slate's going to collect rations, apparently, because they've been delivered. But as you guys are seeing this, you sort of see this individual. All right. You see this individual kind of look, and he says, I do love such fresh and fiery screams. They make me feel so young again. And he kind of turns to, as you guys are sort of like staggering back up, he turns to the pirate on the ground. He's like bleeding and looking just pure hate looking in his eyes. And he says, hello, son. It seems your cunning attempt to cut a deal with that cowardly little wretch did you a wrong turn. Such a disappointment, as always. Your petty little toys have never been a match for me. He kind of like stretching. By all means, enjoy tearing one another apart. I will be collecting gold and gratitude and a little more personal things. And he like kicks Flo in the stomach. And it looks like it's like, for a guy who's like slight and wearing like a bathrobe, like she sucks in a breath and is like, oh, a little bit of personal things from family lines, all sorts of lovely things. Old friend is paying much and more than your silly bounty for the crow, after all. So I'll just let you two hash it out. Take care. And he kind of whoosh, makes this slashing motion, and the air seems to ripple, and both he, the Cackler, and Flo just vanish.
We just found him.
Indeed. So, as that kind of happens, what is everyone doing? As like the captain is sort of like, and he just like runs to the edge of. He's like stumbling, but he's running to the edge, limping to the edge, and just looking at the just devastation of his ship beginning to sink into the sea below.
We don't want to be here. We do not want to be here. We need to leave.
Yeah.
So, do you think the captain would take revenge on us after he gets over the loss of his
We
everything?
need to. Our getaway boat is probably already gone. We need
Good
to go.
point. Let's move.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys are turning around, he's like, wait, please. Situation has changed. I can have. We have a common enemy now. Wait. And he's kind of like hobbling. He doesn't have a peg leg, but he's walking like he has one now. And he's like trying to hobble after you guys. You're clearly going to outpace him if no one waits for him. But you guys are turning around and leaving.
I'll kind of like go up to him, and it's intimidating as scrawny emo boy can be. Like hold him against the wall with my rapier, and like, and why should we trust you?
Okay, so you draw your rapier. He's staying like
Yeah.
not immediately within like arm's reach. He's not an idiot. But you definitely threaten him. So go ahead and make an intimidation check just to get like a general feeling of how you're
Can we
reaching
do we want to do strength or charisma?
It's your choice.
It's your choice.
So it's a flat 11.
Flat 11. Okay.
Do you need me to come intimidate?
I
I will start looming, Nicholas.
Okay. I'll get to your looming in a second. Look, there's no reason you should trust me, except that you can trust a greedy bastard. And right now, all the loot, all the stuff that I had, all the gold that I had coming from those two, is gone. And there's one thing you can trust more than gold, it's hate. And that one I hate. He just took, I'm presuming, your friends, or whatever you want him for. We can discuss disposition of everything afterward, but if there's one thing I can help with, it's killing that man.
Insight check.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
yeah, I will do the same actually.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, insight check.
Well, they're sort of. How about we tie you up so you can't hurt us and you can come with us?
Look, if we get into a fight right now, that's not going to help right now, and I'm not going to just let you tie me up. I'll go with you, but I'm keeping my weapons right where they are. Alright, what'd you get for insight checks?
11.
21.
21? He seems super bent on getting revenge on this guy. He does not care at all. Like, he is just like, whether you guys agree to help or not, like, he's after this guy.
Foley and the Fox, I presume, was our mysterious friend here?
Something like that, yeah. He's, not exactly one to tangle lightly, and not someone I'd engage with, even with normal crew, but perhaps we can find a way to herd him together. Seems like you were savvy enough to follow this way, so might be able to work something out, and I can tell you at least a little bit about his magic and his trade.
Well, let's talk on the go. Seems like he's,
Yeah.
jonesing for a kill here. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come with us.
Come with us. Did he call you son, or did I mishear?
You misheard. And he kind of is like pulling his coat like closer.
Insight.
And yeah, go ahead and make an insight check. He's got like, his like nice like dark colored feather is like wilted and burned. Like half his side is just like burned and singed. And he's like struggling, but he's moving along.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Yeah. He's definitely lying, or at least brushing aside the question.
Uh-huh. Don't need to flirt with this one, do I?
No.
He kind of looks at you and just, no. You see him pull out a coin and give it a flip, so I'm going to do that.
Ooh.
And you see, as he does, some of his wounds seem to close as he catches it.
Neat trick.
Arr! And he kind of bites the coin and, like, tips it and puts it into his pocket. There's a few things that the old fox doesn't know about me. All right, let's get going.
About
Jeva.
your ship, your crew.
Forget the crew. Forget the ship. It's at the bottom of the sea. You're burnt to cinders. Rest of the people too.
Yeah, ain't no one looking at one.
And it was like a big explosion.
Let's go see if our getaway vessel is still here.
I think I bumped the camera.
Thank you.
Oh no.
Gotta make sure that, there we go. We get Felina still on camera. Getaway boat. Good call.
Are we all gonna fit?
We'll lead the way.
Oh god.
Might be some lapse in, we'll see.
All right. Yeah. So you head on out hurriedly this time, assumably,
Wow.
Yeah.
and are on the rush, getting out, just getting out through the thing. From behind you, you hear sort of like a. I told them.
Oh no.
Are we getting about to get kaboom?
You're just hearing it coming from like behind, echoing past, like from the distance. It sounds kind of muffled.
So that make sure our ears are re-stuff our ears.
But you guys get back to the boat, and Leto is like, "What the hell's going on? There was a big explosion. We didn't sign up for this. You just went ferrying over." And Leiflin's like, Don't worry. Look, she made it out."
Good job.
Yeah, we need to go. We need to leave. We need to go.
Right, leaving. Yep, I'm all for it. Get on, you, Tiny. Let's do this. All right, so go ahead and make athletics check to go ahead and row.
We have an extra passenger. If he acts unjustly, just throw him overboard.
I'm a pirate. Of course I'm going to act unjustly.
I would recommend shutting up right now.
And he kind of like pulls that big like arquebus weapon in front of him.
Enough.
Oh, fair, Flynn.
Anika, please.
Please, like I couldn't take this kid. All right, Leto got a nat 20. How'd you do?
Not quite a nat 20, but I think Slate was a rower in a past life as 24.
24. All right, yeah.
No.
I mean, his total is only 22. It's not like it's that crazy. But you guys, it's almost like speedboat, boom, 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 across the waves there as you guys are like making speed as you go. And even with all that, though, the captain, pirate guy, says, "Ugh, not fast enough." And he just, without pausing, he's just like, "Hold on," and cocks the weapon and shoots this huge like shockwave of like thunderous energy. You see, those of you looking behind, see the water like part for like a cone section of it, and the whole boat just like takes a big jump and speeds farther along, like escalating the rate at which you guys are moving along. You see him sort of like twitch as his hand is like all numb and electrified, and kind of looks more vaguely satisfied with the thing, with the progress that you guys are making now along this journey.
So much for inconspicuous.
I think that ship has sailed.
No, I think it blew up.
Okay, Anika, stop.
What exactly should we be calling you, Mr. Pirate Captain?
Captain Blackmist, it was, but Brixton Blackmist, but just Cap or Captain's fine too. And you see, this guy's pretty decked with different gear. You see what looks like a really unusual sword, kind of crusted in like dripping salt, in his belt. You saw the coin. He's got an eye patch, but the eye patch seems to have like a sewn purple eye that seems to be moving on, like roving randomly. As he's doing it, he also seems to have a like kind of like Renostos, but with lots of different. He's like laden with different potions along in like a underarm strap, like a hip strap. So it looks like he's got like a lot of potions within arm's reach, and they all seem to be like just like buckled in, so that he could like flip the buckles up really easily and like down them. So he looks like laden for combat with the gun thing that he's got going on, the like big stick, trumpet stick, that thunder trumpet stick thing that he shot off there. And thank you. I try. And he says, well, what about the rest of you, since we're doing interactions?
What was that Anika called me?
Annie.
Dead-faced.
Couldn't tell you why, but they call me Tiny.
Marianne.
Renostos is like looking around, he's confused. My name is Renostos.
Right, Renostos. And these two, and later's like, just hired help, don't worry about the name. And Captain Blackmist is just sort of like, fair enough. All right. Once we get into Doc, I don't know how much you know about the Foley and the Fox. I know he's got some business around the waterside, guild water stalls, all that sort of stuff. But we'll be running after his mansion. But if I have understood him at all, he'll have it warded to the teeth. So we'll need to find a way in there. Have any thoughts or ideas? Any skills that you might be able to put to use?
We have a contact that might be able to give us more information. We're meeting him at the end of the next
Turning.
Is there any way we could expedite that? After all, this is a bit of a situation. Don't know if you saw.
Lovely time sensitive here.
We could. I can help us be a little bit more stealthy to get in. Have some experience breaking into the homes of the wealthy myself, but it's been a few
Not
years.
like this one, I can promise you.
Do you want to maybe...
With your contact, could we speed that up?
We could talk. It's sort of a tumultuous relationship.
Like all my relationships.
We can always use the law, right? Maybe get information on like floor plans, sewer systems
Don't know
connecting.
if we have enough points left to get that information.
Go ahead and make another athletics check, as you say, while you're rowing. All right. Looks like the rapid adrenaline-filled burst of energy is kind of fading from Leto a little bit. He's doing okay, got a 12, but not like stellar like he was before.
21.
21! Slate is just the rowing master. And even like Captain Blackman's kind of like, wish I had your kind on my crew. So as you guys are making your way back to shore, and he's kind of pressing you about this sort of, all right, what's the plan? How are we going to get in?
Well,
you have experience breaking into homes, but I can promise you, unless you're very skilled in undoing arcane defenses, he's going to have some serious problems for us.
What about
Well,
you?
didn't you say this was your dad?
I think he is pretending that that's not true, Ren.
Not pretending. He's just never been much a father of any kind.
That's fair enough.
Disowned me when I didn't show any kind of magical talent. Anyway, it's none of your business. We are not close. I don't know anything about what he's got in store. That mansion of his is taken over from some famous somebody or another that vanished a while back.
You seem like you could be a well-connected young man. Do you not have any connections we can use to help our process?
Not in the city. All my connections you just saw blow up. At least as far as this side of things. Most of, if you're looking to get, good deals and good trade ambush routes along the Sunswell Isles, I'm your man. But we stay clear of the Solnian Navy.
Now that I think of it, and Renostos will start digging in his what do you call that? His coat thing, and he'll pull out a bottle. It's like a pinkish fluid. He's like, oh, if your arm is bothering you, maybe you should try a sip of this.
Obliged. And he kind of takes it, takes the cork out with his teeth, spits it to the side, gives it like a wafting sniff, and then just downs it.
And Renostos takes out a notebook and is just looking at him intently.
Was that one of your potions specifically?
It was the experimental elixir of healing, so 2d4.
Okay, why don't you roll?
We don't have an
That
ethical
is
bone among us.
6. This is my intelligence modifier. Which is, I have all of this memorized now, don't I?
Uh-huh.
That is 10 health back.
Yeah, between whatever he did with the coin plus this, it seems like he's more or less back to just like singed, but otherwise okay.
How did it taste?
Taste. I don't know, like, bit like medium rare meat.
Oh.
I'm gonna poke his hurt arm.
Stop that! What are you... Can we focus here?
What? What were you doing with Chirps and the blue one?
Look, the blue one, as you call her, Flo, was part of my crew once upon a time, and stole something of mine. You might have noticed her flashing it about. Once we got her word of its goings on here, moved on over to repossess and have a word with her, as it were. As for the bird, I think his name's the Cackler, something weird like that. Anyway, some bounties were putting on his head, and for someone matching his description of his persuasion and skill, about particularly evolving around someone who can craft explosives. Seems like he's got a bit of history down in Shadvir, and knows a bit of skills in crafting magical gear. I'm a bit of a purveyor of sorts, and he kind of gestures to his whole kit that he's got with the coin, and all the potions that he's got, and his sword, and the like cannon thing, and the eye patch of magical interest, and was willing to lay down a little bit more to collect such a valuable member of crew. As for, things changed a little bit, obviously, when Folian showed up. So, now you know. And you, just noble-hearted repossessing of people?
They're friends.
They're part of our group. Lots of people died in the capture of them as well.
You sound really broken up about it.
Just stares at him.
You really picked winners to work with. That Archie, he's quite the catch.
Well, Archie, he,
Real name, fun fact. We found that out.
well, I'll be sure to use that next time I see that cowardly little bastard. Punch his teeth in. But,
Please.
look, he's a slippery sort, but, when I heard his style and was looking for new work, during all the upheaval that's going on around here, I figured he'd be a good bet. And frankly, he delivered. It's just unforeseen third party, after all.
So, as great as riddling the obviously evil pirate is,
I wouldn't call me evil, just
we'll go with pragmatic. But
worldly.
we do kind of have some people to rescue and, a house to break into. Maybe we focus on that instead?
I just wanted to get an idea of what we were looking at.
Well, I am curious, Mr. Black. Did you say Black Cloud?
Black Mist. Captain Black Mist.
After Blackfist, yes. I think it's safe to presume that if we help you exact revenge on your father, then maybe our mutual connection can be absolved of her crimes against you, and you will no
He's
longer
not
secret
my father!
Oh, yes.
But I understand what you're saying. We can discuss the disposition of the Solari pistol, and I might have a few words with Flo, but that sounds amenable.
Pistol, is that the odd weapon
Yes,
she carries
yes,
around?
yes, that would be it. You don't know what I did to get it. Anyway,
Killed people, I assume?
took it from someone who did. Let's get another athletics check for the third
We're still rolling.
rowing. Yeah, it's been a little bit since you guys aren't quite there.
And do you think that she'll be kept at his location, at his manor that you mentioned?
I'm not sure, but all I know is he's got some place called the Den, is referred to where he keeps his and prepares his slaves and other sorts. That kind of thing. Look, I only collect a few rumors every now and then on him so that I can work my way up to this point, but it seems like fate has pushed us forward, so that's where we're at. What was your total?
23.
Man. He got a 13, but yeah, you pull in right, like, speedily to the same, like, part of sort of garbage-ridden, half-sunken dock section that they had stashed the boat. And Leto's like, look, no questions asked. Just go. Just get out of our lives. Fairflynn is just like, wait, and he's just like hand over the mouth, and he's like pulling on his hair, just like, just go. I don't care. You paid. Just get out of our lives. Not above my pay grade. And Captain Blackmist is like, oblige, mate. And heads up on board to back to the city. So after your jaunt, 3 hours each way, it's much later in the day in the turning. Not that the sun would be aware of that, or would make you aware of that. But you guys probably at least a few of you may have timepieces or other ways that you normally track the time. Handy hourglasses and little watches and stuff like that aren't too uncommon. And Captain Blackmist pulls out like a sort of very nice looking pocket watch, which is a pretty rare and expensive item to have. And it looks like it's made of gold and like inlaid with really nice filigree. And it's just sort of like, well, how about that meeting then? Can we speed that up or what?
You're talking to Julius?
Yeah. This is, again, tumultuous connection. We're not sure if we'd be able to speed it up, but if we can try to convince Julius.
Sure, let's head to Toga's Tunics and Try-Ons.
Okay, so you guys make your way over there, and you're making it presumably with sort of haste. Captain Blackmist, he's tall, about 6'3", so standing, still quite shorter than Slate, but the two of you leading the way can easily sort of like intimidate / push your way through crowds and get where you need to go in a little bit more speedily. You make your way to Toga's Tunics and Try-Ons, and you see what looks like a little kind of elderly halfling there at the desk with Julius, who seems to be dealing with this individual. He's like, oh, well, I'd really like to be able to get that fixed jolly good by tomorrow. Well, I really want something nice for the mid-year's turn-in, and I'm going to be heading out for the party. And I understand, but we're going to have to take a little bit longer to do these alterations. And kind of looks up. He says, sir, why don't you come back in an hour? I believe that we have a bit of an urgency situation, and frankly, I've told you all that there is to know. Well, I'll go somewhere else then. And kind of like hobbles out. Excuse me, and kind of tries to like push past Captain Blackmist. And for a second, he like rests his hand on his sword, but kind of rests eyes with Julius, and kind of says, excuse me, and he kind of shifts out of the way. Here, what's this world coming to? Kind of, the halfling kind of leaves the store quite quickly, and you're back, and you enter the store area, and Julius looks you all over. Well, this is quite irregular. I thought that we had everything squared away, that we would be meeting with the contact tomorrow. What has happened? And who is this? Is this who I think it is?
Mm-hmm. Our timetable has moved up a bit.
I see. And what do you want me to do about it?
Is there any way to speed along this meeting?
We have bribes.
Do you now? Well, I don't know if you know this, but I own this store. I don't know that I need too much money in my trade.
Grab some of the what is it, silk?
Mm-hmm.
That we got from the box?
The mildewed silk.
Okay, but it's nice underneath.
Son, don't even try with that. I'm not interested. And Captain Blackmist kind of leans up against Harney and says, listen here. You have no idea what we're going through, and you have no idea what we're chasing, what we're after. And whatever this contact is that you're saying that you can get to them, you get it to us now. He's like, sir, I believe I do understand what you're after, and trust me, I'm far from intimidated from you. Your reputation does precede you, but not necessarily impressively given your state of attire. Kind of gesturing over him and kind of keeping a cool head, like his eyes are just like flat. He's unfolding his like impressively muscular dwarven dark ebony skin, kind of stroking his beard. Says, fine, I believe that we might be able to expedite, but if we're moving location, then perhaps there's You're gonna have to still be patient. I'm not sure that you'll be able to do all that you've come to do here by the end of the day, but I can at least get you to meet with my contact. Let me think carefully. I know. I'll spread the word, but you're gonna have to move. We're gonna have to hoof it up to the Jewels Ward quite quickly. Masked Palace. I think I have my ticket still here. And he kind of rumbling around, and he pulls out a swath of 5 tickets that he pushes across. They're done in like a very nice, like red and gold style, and they seem to be to some sort of theater show at the Masked Palace, like private box situation. And he's like passing them over. I was able to secure these, lucky for you. I will have the contact meet you during intermission. The show starts, I believe, in an hour, so you best be moving.
You look nothing like anyone who should be walking into the Masked Palace.
I believe that I might be able to help with that. I might have a few things in your size. And he kind of quickly goes behind, like, the service counter area and comes out to the front. And you see, he's got, like, an unusual, like, belt. And it almost looks like it extends, like, a half... like a skirt or something like that, but it seems to be made of like a rustling metal material. He moves around, otherwise just general, dressed in nice clothing, like well-tailored clothing. He pulls a few things from the shelves like quite rapidly, as like he just like pushes it up against Captain Blackmist's chest. He's like, here's this for you, and you gentlemen, it's a little torn up, your coats, so otherwise I'd say you'd look fine, but try this. And he kind of hands you something that's a little bit more like a Bilbo-esque waistcoat situation, with like a nice flamboyant tie. So he hands you each like a nice outfit, and Captain Blackmist is like, I'm not going to some stupid palace and masked parade. What is this? I thought you were real help. What is it? Explain yourselves. And he's kind of looking to all the party.
He's having us meet his contact early at this theater show. What do you need explained?
Subterfuge beyond you?
This is not my kind of subterfuge. Fair enough. Fine. But I'm keeping my hat. And he kind of, like, dusts off his, like, wilted, singed feather in his hat, and dresses up all the stuff, and he says, well, Julius looks over you and says, well, this is most irregular. I expect a little bit of a return of favor, perhaps, for quickly escalating our plan and moving forward. It's not exactly my style, but I understand that you need to make haste. You best run if you want to make it in time.
Thank you very much, Julius. You've done us a lot of favors. We really appreciate it.
I expect to collect some time, but I understand. And for what it's worth, spit in that fox's eye, why don't you?
Oh, we'll do more than that.
And be careful.
Thank you.
And kind of ushers you out of his store, like pushing you. So at this stage, what are you guys doing? You guys are in your like fancied up things. You've got each of you have like a burlesque masquerade style mask. Captain Blackmist just kept his eye patch, but otherwise are in like fancy robes or togas or toga tops with like sashes and tassels, and like it's very over the top.
Slate's finally out of rags.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
I expect these to come back in pristine condition.
Good luck with that.
Tanyl is like very uncomfortable at the skin that's showing.
Anika will take one of the shawls she's made out and add it to the outfit, and she'll undo her braids and go for more of a bun. This
Nice.
is fancy, right?
You're asking the
Right?
wrong people here.
This is fancy, right?
I'm gonna guess my gloves don't go with my
Look great.
outfit.
Thank you. I was just gonna go for disguise self, but this works too.
Captain Blackness is just like.
Let's go.
Let's move. You don't talk. I guess I talk. Am I the one who talks?
We'll figure it out. Let's go.
All right.
What?
What?
Okay, so you guys are hoofing it up to the space overall. Yeah, hiking up your togas and other fancy dress wear, and you're sweating as you make it all the way up through the rest of the space. You know, you guys aren't meandering; you're like booking it full out. So I'm actually going to have to make you guys go ahead and make a athletics check to just keep with your ability to manage the heavy level of exertion.
Let's see. So he's good at rowing. Can he walk?
Skinny him a boy.
All right, let me get to. You go.
She kept her sweater on, so it's just even harder.
Just like
Yeah.
he jerk.
You if as you just to back up really fast, when you did look at the tickets, it looked like it's the show's title or whatever is called Dewdrop Delights, and it has a little thing that says "Party Dress, courtesy of the Smiling Gentleman." All right, so how do we do with our athletics check? We got a hot 3 from Anika. Slate, how do you do?
25.
25. All right, you're fine. Renostos?
13.
13? Okay. Slate runs in drag all the time, so he's fine. Tanyl.
The backstory you don't know.
Yeah, Tanyl.
2.
2. Captain Blackmist is moving along. He's not, the Slate's got his 8-foot tall, person stride, so he's a little bit ahead of the group, but otherwise he's managing up. So we got a 2 and a 3.
Not dealing well in the sun.
Not dealing well in the sun. You guys are going to get a point of exhaustion. You're not falling too far behind. Excuse me, you're not falling too far behind overall. You're maybe 10 feet back and kind of trying to push through some of the crowd. You're hearing, people shouting and stuff like that. Renostos, how'd you do?
13.
13. Okay, I mean, you're moving at like a very fast old man shuffle. So you're able.
Show the cat.
Yeah, you got a show to catch. So you guys eventually, just to brush past all the moving and motion, are able to brush to get to the. You're maybe fashionably late by 15 minutes or something like that, but you get to the front of the masked palace, which is this. Beautiful flanged multi-story like manor / burlesque castle with streamers of garish color hanging from its corners. It has like a huge 5 foot wide, 10 foot tall black and white mask of the masked reveler that hangs above the grand pink studded double black double doors. As you just get close, the air is just thick with wine scent and rich foods and perfumes. It just sort of miasmas about in the overall space. You guys are not out of place with dress, but you're out of place with the way that you're coming in. As all these other people are "Oh, I say!" as they move to the side as this a crowd of avid people are just bolting to the front door there, but. As you get close, the doors open themselves with a little kind of sound that's audible to the doors themselves as they open, and you see this lush rugs and carpets that texture every floor and even wall of the interior, and there's shade cloth over the windows to ensure a dim sort of colorful lighting. You got multicolored candles that play different shadows across the broad space. You see these black and white wooden pillars extending upward and frame a pair of side-facing, moving up spiral staircases that extend up at least a few stories with balconies of black wood and golden filigree up above. You see a sort of curtained off booth that hides what must be some kind of musician sending soft notes resounding through the space on maybe a harp of some kind. I'm going to change the music here. As we move to this area in a second, it's no longer the quick go get 'em kind of situation. So you also see several fireplaces that burn different scented woods and kind of fill the air with like a thick, laden feeling. They have like long plush couches near different fireplaces to relax and sprawl out. There's decanters of wine, there's trays of food being served here and there by masked individuals wearing colorful robes and tastefully placed feathers, but not much else. One of these individuals sort of slinks up to you. Looks like she might be of elven descent, kind of youthful adulthood. She's got these startling green and golden eyes, chestnut hair, highlights of red that sort of frame her mask of black and white. That's smiling, set in a smile, a sort of sensual smile. She asks, sort of comes in, "Welcome to the Masked Palace. Is there anything that I can get you? A drink, a drop in it, any flavors? We've got all sorts that we can cater to here. Is there anything that you'd like in particular?"
Could you direct us towards our seating? Show her the ticket.
Oh, very nice. I'm Xavier, by the way. Xavier Tendertouch, they call me. And I'll make sure that you get the absolute peak experience here during your theater time. The theater is just about to begin. Your box has already been set, so right this way. And she kind of just says, "Well, if you follow me," and kind of hips moving, just sort of slides up the staircase, leading the way. And Captain Blackness is like, rethinking my feelings on subterfuge. Shall we go?
Yes, let's go. Thank you, darling.
Oh, my pleasure. We offer anything to our most esteemed customers. And you guys are going up the...
Anika is wide-eyed again.
You guys are going up the stairs, and the second floor sort of has this balcony decorated with these masks and ribbons, streamers, and lots of fabric-framed closed doors. You can hear some like sighs and stuff from behind them. You see like buffet carts and things like that being wheeled by like more like smartly dressed valets and things like that, butlers. You eventually lead up further and further until you get to the fifth circle. You are led down to a like hallway with a balcony overlooking a vast theater, and she sort of opens this door and then parts this curtain, and you see you're at this box that's overlooking this vast theater on the side here. You kind of got led down this like side hallway. It seems like there's numerous semicircular tables, all sort of angled to face a grand curtained sort of stage, and you're already hearing sort of like a like faint, very pale golf clap kind of situation. Your escort, puts her key back somewhere and kind of gestures forward to the private box, which has like tinted glass around it. It has plush couches and seating that overlooks these the like regular tables and provides sort of an enhanced viewing of the stage. Parked to one side, you see this like silver cart laden with a sumptuous smelling series of ornate trays and metal covers and stuff like that in the shape of graceful swans. And she sort of snaps her fingers, and the swans shift their wings aside to like reveal the metal shifts and closes up to reveal numerous sumptuous dishes. And she says, "Please enjoy yourselves and let me know if there can be anything that we can do to make your visit a little bit more fantastic." She kind
Thank you.
heads on out.
Well, that was the whole thing. So people keep offering us to add drops to drinks. Does anyone know what that means?
It's the only weird stuff we know about that, like funky pink
Must
stuff.
be some new posh thing that the young people are doing these days.
I did.
No clue. Food.
Yeah.
He kind of looks over and he's
Feels
just like,
like
he's
the
all
food.
about the food. Getting to the cart. Let me see. I have it somewhere here.
Must be a fancy one.
Aneka's gonna pull out her knitting and start working on it in her lap.
Okay, sounds good.
It's good. She'll pull out something fancy with beads on it just to match the mood.
All right, so on the cart there's all sorts of amazing food. There's like crab, shrimp cocktail. It looks like there's some sort of seared fish in candied almonds. There's like a peacock roasted in its plumage, like artfully displayed. There's pinefish fruits and underdragon fruits, those sort of bright blue ones that you saw from the like the spiky ones already cut open, stuff like that you bought from the fruit cart, Fruit Man Dan. You see what look like great roasted moth's wings. As well, numerous cheeses of varying scents, nuts and berries, rich fruit wines, of like a rainbow of colors to wash it all down, reds and whites, rainbow plum wine, all sorts. So, like, Captain Blackmist is like, this revenge business is going well, and he kind of like uncorks a decanter with his teeth, shoots it to the side, and just like pulls a hip flask out and just pours out one of the like rainbow colored wines and begins like sipping it. I hope your contact comes soon, but he'll be missing the food, I can tell you that. You also notice what look like multiple laid open and like artfully displayed snakes served up as food as well. So that's sort of another option. So
I gotta hit that mothwing, dude.
okay.
Oh, definitely.
Roasted mothwing, got it. You're going for the mothwings.
Going for the cheese and fruit.
Okay.
That girl sort of shove a piece of cheese in her mouth, and then is the peacock displayed with its feathers?
Yeah, I think it's displayed with its feathers. Yeah.
She'll
It's
take.
like it's on it, sort of underneath it, like a
Are the
fan.
feathers cooked?
They're sort of like slightly glazed, and they look like a little crispy, but otherwise they're not like.
Bert Keratin.
Delicious.
Yeah. She'll take a few, stuff them in her bag, and then the snakes. Do they have the scales on them?
Yeah, they still have the scales on like the outer ends of them.
She'll take her dagger and start cutting a few off. What?
You know we're supposed to eat these, not play with them.
I'm eating the cheese.
It's all delicious. Like, this is the best food you've ever tasted. The moth wings, I imagine, have like the texture of like cotton candy, but they have sort of like a semi spicy sweet taste to them.
Anika looks
I've
approving.
got to try these wings.
She'll take one. The only good use for a moth.
And these are not like small moth wings, I should say. They're like arm-sized wings.
Yeah, I'm thinking like elk ears, like.
Yeah. And you see just like a hush fall over the crowd as things kind of get settled. Whatever you were clapping the clapping for that you entered with must have been for the announcer and theater master who was announcing this, because it doesn't seem like they're wasting much time with that as we move on to what looks like immediately the starting of a show. So for a moment, all light and other senses seem to dim, and there seems to be some kind of dimming effect in the room itself. Then there's sort of nothing but the hush of the anticipatory crowd as they lean forward in their seats. And then, gently, seeming to materialize out of nothing, comes an astoundingly beautiful gnome woman clad in leaves and crowned in flowers as she begins to sing. And these notes fill the air and sort of resound over the space, kind of washing through all the objects and things rather than over them. And the voice itself is a quiet thing. It carries really vastly and kind of resounds strangely. As it wafts over you, the sharp edges and rounded angles of the physical world seem to kind of bend and shiver a little bit. Lighting and shimmering colors that bloom from within the shadows, kind of spreading and then vanishing and reshaping. And sort of like a beckoned whisper, the woman's singing seems to call forth a tall and regal man who comes from the stage in chains of vine, locking at his throat in a tree hung with branches that are sort of alight with this pale golden fire flickering. And as her voice kind of twins with the singing of the man, the gnome sort of is creating this mournful tune together, this longing and deep sorrow between the two of them. And where their singing meets, it seems like there's multicolored, just like butterflies that burst out of nothing and start flickering around the air and vanishing into your eyes, but leaving like spots on your vision. They're sort of like exploding in little helixes of mesmerizing color, and everything seems to be shifting and bending. It's everything's got like a sparkly tinge towards it, and you're feeling a little bit of room spin as you're like falling under the spell of the magic of this performance that they're giving. From the shadows come this like twisting lights and shimmering reflections off the scales of every like metallic and chromatic dragonborn rising from the back of the stage, together sort of casting a rainbow of shimmers upon the two singers as the light reflects off of them. And as this sort of the man's voice sings out, and the light from the burning tree sort of begins to fade and be almost like crumpled somehow, leaving those mournful longings in the notes of his tone, and sort of leaving the gnome alone in this lonely voice once more. And it pauses for a second, and she again inhales and sings out this, and from the tree comes like 1,000 pixies clad in minute diamonds, like diamond dresses shimmering out over them, and they're sort of spreading this dust all over the place, and as they do, it further distorts the light and the sound in the theater. It's warping and changing reality. Everything is shimmering and moving. And suddenly your skin seems to come alive as you watch the pixies close in around the gnome and lift her up. They're extending her shape and form into something magnificently beautiful and vast and grand. This otherworldly fey creature over 10 feet tall that fills the stage with her butterfly wings, the same sort of mesmerizing color as those of the others. And a train passes through. This is just how it goes where we live. And all of a sudden, even though you're in an enclosed space, rain from no clouds just like falls like gentle kisses throughout the space, and each droplet seems to sort of distort time as it falls slowly and slowly, kind of falling slower and slower as it gets close to the ground. And within each semisphere of water, you can see reflections of 1,000 dreamers and lovers of hope and light, of sultry shadows and sort of dancing what look like incubi or some other kind of demoness. And when the droplets fall, finally reaching their destination, they sort of splash into this shimmering gold that seems to stack up like coins, stacking and stacking. You see that they are coins, and they seem to be sort of shaping and growing and bending, twisting like molten glass, and they're like expanding over into this monstrous creature, this face, this monstrous maw that is facing the stage, and it seems like it's this golden dragon made of these coins, and it's breathing this molten fire out at the fey creature, and it seems like you are sort of now joined by joined by dozens of like raggedly dressed individuals, like cowering in fear on the stage. And the sort of green and shimmering sunlight in the voice of the singing fae sort of battles that blanket of darkness that's spewing from the dragon's maw, and as they reach the sort of peak of the half song and half scream, the air seems to shake like water beside a roaring noise, and you feel all your senses sort of fade to total blackness for 3 very slow heartbeats. And then a huge crashing symphony of triumphant sensation just returns to you all in like a huge rush, and you see the gnome sort of descending back onto stage. Once again, turned, all the rag-clad folk have sort of fallen aside, but the gnome sort of descends back, and her petals that she's wearing sort of bloom and shed around her, transforming her into this sort of small and fragile, but still beautiful, like dancing golden light spirit that's sort of shifting, and the stage is like set with the colors of sunlight behind it, and it's slowly like descending back beneath the curtain's sort of sly grasp. And you're left feeling just like languid and exhausted, just experiencing what like attacked and befuddled and enchanted your senses. And the whole like physical world seems to come spinning and distorting still. But it's like dulled to a more pleasant spectrum of like unusual colors and rounded corners, multifaceted spots on otherwise smooth glass. And there's like a silence that's just settling in. And then with a crash, you hear like the thundering roar of applause from the very entranced and somewhat intoxicated from the experience audience, who are just cheering like, "Bravo, bravo, beautiful, so meaningful, so deep," and hearing these like cheers and sorrowful like cries by some of the audience as the individual kind of fades back behind the curtain. And there's like a long moment, and you just hear a voice kind of come from all the walls and say, "Thank you. Please enjoy a brief intermission before our next performance."
Can you put the cheese back down there?
Yeah, all the food in your mouth was just like incredibly tasty and like blossoming in your mouth. But yeah, you just like slowly lower it. And as at this point, you notice something you didn't notice before, which seems to be like a sixth individual who had been waiting in the space the whole time. This individual is quite tall, maybe 6'2" or so, right around the height of Captain Blackmist. I see. You can't really tell what the person is, but he, as you hear him speak in just a second, seems to be wearing some sort of. Let me get my notes in order. Ooh, everything got shifted around because.
We skip something?
No, you guys went in a different order. Yeah.
We skip something.
We would never do that.
Never at all. Let me move over.
We sort of, went to the island before talking to the contact.
Yeah, here we go. So he's sort of wearing this lacquered white mask that's gilded around the sides and has a mustache, like a curling mustache, and like little goatee chin, so that depicts an impish grin. He's wearing a very dapper hat that totally outclasses Captain Blackmist's hat, with a very like fanciful peacock feather or some other kind of. It's like more vibrant in various colors, more pinks, and a sort of shimmering cloak. It's got kind of a steely look to it, but it's colored in like a deep maroon. It's kind of like a steampunk meets English high class kind of cloak. He's wearing rich purple gloves and a sort of lavender and gold sort of overcoat over his like vest that he's got, and it's got sort of cuffed sleeves. And this individual sort of seems to stand at this time. And let's see here. He says, "I trust you are able to keep your wits about you. Even in the midst of great distraction, it is always important to keep your mind open. I apologize for the intrusion. I am known as the Smiling Gentleman. I believe we have a mutual friend who urged me haste in our previous connection, but this individual," kind of gestures to Captain Blackmist, "is most irregular. I did not foresee such an individual's busting in to our moments. So please explain yourselves. I was hoping to hear what happened to the courier of that letter that you found."
We found him, unfortunately, dead in an alley.
"Forget the courier," and you kind of just like Captain Blackmist is like, "Forget the courier. We're after Foley and the Fox. Can you get it?" Like,
Just wait.
"I understand what you're here for. This is not my first clandestine meeting. So keep your peace and perhaps mend your hat in the meantime." You were saying about the courier.
Yes, we found him dead in an alley. He appeared to be killed by a strange dagger, and we found.
No, I think the dagger was his, but there was a wound with a strange infection, almost.
I see. Well, this is not unheard of, though it troubles me that it pierced this far into the city.
You
And
know
you-
of this infection?
I have known of many poisoned envoys in my time, you might say. It is not unheard of to be used. Can you give me a greater description?
I will describe what I saw, which was I am trying to remember it. Alina's trying to remember it.
Yes, sort of like a dark vein growth
Right,
from
yeah.
the wound up towards like the viscera.
So I'll tell him that.
Yes, this is symptomatic of many different poisons, but if I am correct in guessing at the assailant, I imagine that I know where it came from, yes. But that does not seem to be our most pressing concern anymore, given what this Frank Loudmouth decided to share. It seems that you are after Folian the Fox, a most high caliber of enemy, although I share my own distastes for the individual.
Yes, he kidnapped some of our friends, and then this man wants to take revenge on him. We were hoping to perhaps break into his estate and could maybe use some tips.
Tips. Just, hey, we're about to do a heist. Can I get some tips?
As you,
Just some tips.
as you can see, we're more a group of action than talking.
I understand this is not what I would have hoped for, but perhaps not. Perhaps your skills will still reveal themselves. How about we say that? We must both be careful, or we must all be careful in this nest of serpents. Avoid their trade, kind of gestures to the serpents, the snakes, like on the meal platter, and take no drops in your drinks. As for this Folian, he runs the Quipcorn Wonderware, the black market auction out of the Werewarrens. I know a coin and quipper are hidden on its door, as well as those of many other warehouses that he has purchased in recent times. I believe he is connected to some new movement in the city itself. Exterior trade, nefarious actions moving in and out of these warehouses. Beware, though, he has many enemies and many more terrible allies, and he himself is a mighty sorcerer. Of what he is, I cannot tell you, except that he is no mortal. They say that he can change his shape, and his mind is shielded from invasion. If you are looking to deal with this individual, perhaps the Quipper Mansion will be the best way for us to gain egress, although it will be very dangerous. If you are willing to undertake such an endeavor, it would prove a good test of your skill to come out of alive. That much is to say. What is it that you are so bent on, aside from revenge?
He took our friends. We want them back.
Ah, I see. Well, that's more of a motive that I can get behind, rather than mere revenge. In any case, I believe that I might be able to provide some assistance. Folian is a man of avid skill navigating social waters, and even more skill evading direct confrontation. Even I have not been able to find him his end. I know that his mansion was acquired, I believe, by that of someone else. Old hands from an old friend. But that is history now, I suppose. It has been repurposed and resecured with many arcane defenses, it is safe to say. I'm just moving to the new notes. I believe that this individual Folian is working with a new organization known as the Plenty. It has been shipping out of many of these warehouses. He may have many of these agents who seem to wield these sorts of poisons, kind of gestures towards Tanyl, against their victims. So be aware and ready for confrontation. Although I do not... If we are careful, we might be able to avoid at least their influence, for I believe that your friends will have been taken to the Brimstone Den. It is said that this is where his lair is truly set, where he takes his slaves to sell, to prepare them for whatever comes next for them, the poor souls, and hides his darkened treasures. that he deals in. I do not know how to get into the den itself, but it is said that its entrance lies somewhere, I imagine in a arcane fashion, on the 3rd floor of the mansion. I have long worked and labored towards Folian's End, and have at least a basic blueprint of the house itself, and many of the wards that we must be careful of. I might at least be able to disable one such entry point, a window on the 3rd floor, farthest away from prying eyes, to allow you entrance. But anything further beyond what lies protecting that window, I cannot help you with. My preparations will take me out of play in this home invasion, as it were, although it seems that you have a new strong-headed ally who might be equipped at least to assist them, yes? I'll assist them, but if you're too prissy to help us in the real fight, then what good are you at all? I appreciate your direct method of attack, but I must keep some measure of secrecy, and I'm afraid it might draw a lot of ire faster upon us if I enter upon the abode itself. So perhaps Oh, Kat, I think we're getting some feedback noise from you.
Better.
Thank you. Perhaps it is... I can at least lend you the assistance and lend you the outlay of the location here. And he kind of produces a scroll and says, here is the blueprint of the mansion that you will likely need, of its 3 floors and its various entry points. As I have noted, the locations of windows and doors, they seem to all be set with some sort of arcane lock and alarm system that I and a few other allies that shall remain nameless have been managed to discern. It is one of these that I shall negate, and he kind of makes a mark on the 3rd floor, one of the 3rd floor windows, makes a mark there, and says, I will negate the defenses around this particular window around the middle of the day on the morrow. I cannot make any more haste than that, since I will need to undergo great preparation in order to undertake this without stirring the fox's wrath upon us. As for whatever preparations you seem to need make, I urge you to do so. I also urge that you do not stick around for the second half of the show unless you wish to not be fit to move on the morrow. Most individuals here are expected to stay throughout the turning after the performance, if you understand me.
Loud and clear.
Well, I think that this is at least a start to a relationship that might help undo an enemy that I have long sought the end of. Might I know your names so that I can contact you, and perhaps a location by which to find you?
Renostos is going to stare at Tanyl and Anika.
Anika, shelter.
It is a pleasure. He kind of gives a bow and sweeps his hat.
Slate.
Greetings, Brother Slate.
Renostos.
Greetings, well-dressed gentlemen.
I will mimic his bow, and I still have my suncloth hat on, and kind of do the same to Neil. My real name instead.
And a family name from Slate or Tanyl? I believe I already know this one, Brixton of Blackmist. You know my name, but I don't know yours. Smiling Gentleman is not anything to go by. I thought you were dead. Well, yes, some legends persist beyond mere mortality, my friend, and I see that you've at least heard of me, so it's nice to know that you're in the know.
Have I heard of him before?
Make a history check.
But I have heard of him.
Yeah, you can make a history check.
Would my brain have heard of him?
It's not really in the wheelhouse that that would be knowing of.
21.
10. I rolled a 3.
Okay. Pretty vague, even with that roll. You remember something about like a sort of like local Robin Hood-esque myth around some sort of individual known as the Smiling Gentleman, who was sort of like a, like I said, kind of Robin Hood kind of character, mostly operating in and around the Sunswell Isles, the Verdant Coast, and in and around occasionally Solni. The legends were sort of kind of predated your time a little bit. They're about maybe 50, 60 years old, something like that, like around that time, but you don't remember much more about
So
it.
that would have been pretty
Not,
good.
yeah, kind of pre-time, and not really local anymore as far as like talk and stuff like that goes.
Okay. Kelnara. Tanyl Kelnara.
Oh. I know that your uncle is an individual of some esteem, I believe, or your father?
My uncle.
Yes.
Don't look.
You do not look like him. That's why I was gathering. And you, last name for you, good sir?
Can't say I have one.
Well, no trouble there at all. All nameless and alike, nameless and titled, alike are equally able to rise to great valor or fall to shadowy depths. And he kind of flicks his chin towards the captain for a second, and the captain sort of and kind of leans forward.
You know what, Captain? Why don't we eat some of these moth wings? They're pretty great.
Fine, give me another moth wing. And there's kind of like a sort of metallic shift in his coat a little bit. It sounds like he's armed somewhere under his coat or something like that. It's hard to say. He says, "Well, this has been a fascinating meeting, and I certainly hope that you all don't get killed. Tomorrow, middle of the day, at the agreed upon point. And might I just say that perhaps the best plan is to take what you can and leave. I do not think that this is a direct confrontation with such an individual will serve you well. One more piece that you might be willing or interested to know about this Foley and the Fox. It is said that he answers to no one, but I believe over many hard years of research, I believe that he might have some sort of weakness that he desperately tries to conceal. Perhaps a location, a name, a clue, a relic, something. My sources are a little bit too vague to give you any more further solidification, but it seems that you will be aided in a warrior's presence, and he kind of gestures again to the captain. And with the skills and minds of each of you, I look forward to seeing your success. I will do my best to help aid any egress that you need. But if you are caught directly by the fox, you most assuredly will likely perish.
No pressure.
Surely likely.
You might surprise me.
We aim to please.
As do I. And with that, I bid you all a good turning and good luck. He kind of sweeps his hat again and then, like, just gracefully steps out of the stairway, out through the, like, curtains and door, and seems to head on his way. Prissy man, if he's so all-knowing and skillful and all that, why doesn't he come in and help us?
I mean, it sounds like he's going to be disabling some of the wards. That's, I mean, more than I can do.
Fine. Doors aren't usually much of an obstacle to me. And he kind of subconsciously taps one of his potion bottles, which seems to have like a dark blue, black, like misty liquid in it. But I suppose since we're teaming up, we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Hey, you got anywhere to stay? You're fancy folk from around here. You got some kind of nice rooms? I'll be looking forward to meeting this uncle of yours, I guess. Nice food, nice bed. You know, if we come up with a new crew, I'm just saying, I know we're not all friends yet, but perhaps we can work out an arrangement.
If you open your mouth inside that house, I will pull out every single one of your teeth.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. I can get used to this sort of charm. I've made that fit myself, actually, funnily enough. But in any case,
I will gag you.
You might want to work on your delivery.
Just
but good food, good beds. It seems like I'm moving up in the world despite some of this unpleasantness. Well, I'm looking forward to visiting things, but don't you worry. If we come head to head with the fox, I might have a trick or two up my sleeve. And he kind of sort of gives an exaggerated, like, making fun of the smiling gentleman, like, bow, kind of gesturing out of the space. After you!
Anika tries to keep serious, but can't help but giggle.
Come on. And kind of, like, pushes away. He's, like, trying to shed some of his, like, fancy robing clothing and kind of, like...
Wait, we need to keep that. Julius wants it back.
You can collect the rental fee. I'm not worried about it.
Like,
If we make it out of this alive, I'm not coming back to this stinking city ever again.
I've had that thought many times.
All right, and with that, he goes ahead and follows suit, heading out to this other side hallway that you guys entered into. And I think this is probably a good time for us to end tonight's session and bring it to a close. Was there anything anyone wanted to do just last second, or things you guys wanted to put in as all these players on the board keep getting shifted around?
I'm really looking forward to introducing the captain to Bria.
It's gonna go
great.
well.
It's gonna go great.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be fantastic.
You bring the nicest people home.
Just gonna be a big slumber party at your house.
Oh god.
All right.
Yep.
Well, with that, I think that brings us, like I said, to the end of tonight's session. Thank you so much for watching, those of you watching from home, and thank you guys for being part of this game. Look forward to picking up next week. We're hopefully back to consistent 6:30 to 9:30 on Sundays, and keeping going with the Lumoria campaign. So catch us on YouTube or Instagram at Dragon Poet Society, or find us at DragonPoetSociety.com. Give us a follow if you're enjoying the stream so far, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. So take care, guys.